myself and you, and get rid of an overlay. And yeah, we're live. We don't need to do a fancy introduction though, unless you want to.
No, no. People, I think actually, I was going to say people know us, but I think the people that would be watching this
People
would
who
know
are
us.
watching this will know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because Discord doesn't work, and I need to have you on my screen. You'll have to tell me what the first submission is.
Okay, I will do that. Missions. First one is Bastion by the Mad Catter. All players start enclosed in a neutral wall with a castle that can provide passage to the outside. There isn't much gold or stone in the middle to sustain aggression for a long time. In the long run, players will have to expand their economies outward. There's a monument that gives a gold trickle to the player that controls it. The map was designed for regicide and is coded to force that setting.
I already opened it up,
Yeah.
and it's already very unique. I'm very intrigued by it already. It's definitely some like a very cool design here.
So yeah, there's two. Well, you start with the farms, and there's sort of three lands, one for each player, and then one for the monument.
And I like how already, like we said, they had to be enclosed in walls. I did not even anticipate anyone to like it's fair they are
True,
enclosed in walls,
true,
but not
true.
individually.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So that's a really cool way of already sort of bending the rules a bit.
This is true. Most maps will have the walls separating the players one way or another, and here the
Yeah,
walls
that's
are.
definitely how I would have thought it. But this is quite unique
Yeah.
already.
And okay, the castle. You can use the castle to hop outside, and I guess you
Indeed.
can probably use the castle to attack the wall and make
Can you
yourself.
attack firewalls? I have not used them extensively, if
You,
ever.
I believe villagers will repair them and military units will attack them.
Yeah, because I do remember the villagers having some strange interactions with them.
I could boot this up quickly in game and see.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that as well.
Just to see how that works out. Bastion?
Bastion version 1. Also good to see if there's any. Sometimes people put in like map explorers and such.
Well, I've already noticed something interesting. Let's see if it happens for you as well.
Oh, I just started with 6 players.
Does it? I mean, it might work for 6 players. Not everyone will have coded
work.
that, but
It did actually work, but I'll just open it up.
that is.
Oh, yeah, okay. You convert the walls around it.
But only
That
the
happened all the way around?
only the ones close by. So you don't
How did
actually
you
have
do
to hop out. It's more you want to keep the walls there so that your opponent doesn't run into your castle.
Is that just a weird quirk of how it works, or did you make those walls? Like, did you create those walls differently and like not unconvertible?
It could be intentional. I don't know if we want to go into looking at the code. If we do that for all the maps, it
No,
will take too long.
I'm just intrigued. But you're right.
It's very interesting. What is it? Let me check exactly what he wrote again. All players start the neutral including castle that can provide passage to the outside. I think it's probably intentional that the players get this small bit of wall.
Either way, I can definitely see the castle attacking the wall, and you can break it very quickly.
Yes.
It doesn't take long for.
Of course, it doesn't matter. You can just delete your own wall.
Yeah. There's not a lot of resources in the middle. Very. It kind of reminds me a bit of Chaos Pit, but then again, not really, because you can break the wall so quickly.
Yeah, so effectively you can move out right away. It's just hard to wall the outside.
And the monument that just gave you resources, yeah?
Yeah. Probably Gaia will recapture it if you just send a scout. Assuming you can even take it.
Try. Can you do them away? I don't work with Gaia units very often.
Presumably they're on defensive stance. Yeah, Gaia recaptures the monument.
Can you change the stance as you create them, the units?
No. I didn't know you can't. They're defensive, or if you don't make them unconvertible, they just join the player.
Right, yeah, but you can't. Can you change like aggressive stance?
No,
Okay.
not as far as I know.
Yeah, they just go back to where they were. All right, so I'm looking at the aesthetics right now. It looks pretty nice. I wish they had used more blending on the. I do see a little bit. I wish they'd used more blending on the rock terrain. Personally, for me, it's a very hard off where grass and rock and
True.
desert begins.
It's unbuildable
If I
though,
were to give
so.
some feedback. Yeah, that's true.
Are there
I
bits?
guess for gameplay, it's pretty
Yeah.
good to know exactly where.
Yeah. Oh right, you can't build on things that are unexplored. No.
Right, that has that surprised me so many times. Like something's wrong. What is happening? And then it's just that. Is all the resources standard? I think so.
He's starting.
There's no trickery with like shorefish having 5,000 food.
Are there shorefish on the on the
I see
outside?
shorefish. I see shorefish even inside.
I didn't get any on this generation on the inside.
Oh wait, no, sorry. You're absolutely right. It's literally just ponds. I just looked at the outside, saw the shorefish, and assumed they were in the ponds. I'm blind. You're absolutely right. They don't spawn in the inside. I wonder how much resource you get from the middle.
It was in the description. It's 48 per minute.
Is that the same as just like normal King of the Hill?
I think King of the Hill gives every resource, and he wrote only gold.
Okay, only go. I like it. It's a very simple map, and I do love how they took. Yes, have to be walled in.
Yeah.
And sort of used it differently. I think that's very creative.
Should we can go to the next one?
I want to keep it a quick first impression internal score, just privately.
Sure.
With like not particularly well thought out and anything. Okay, let's look at the next one.
So the next
Good job. Who was it again?
The Mad Catter.
Ah, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
And he submitted the first 3.
I think he knows what he's doing then.
He usually does, yes. So the next one is Riverina.
Riverina.
An arena-style map with a river that surrounds the players.
Oh, Riverina. I see it.
Sort of.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess it's exactly what I expected when I saw the name. It's an interesting take. And I feel like it's perfectly made for that specific Discord or tournament.
Yeah, to make sure water isn't too important. It's only shorefish, right? So.
But it's still rather important. I mean, so
It
it
is.
actually does. No, it actually doesn't
Well,
do 2 things. You can do some really cool landing shenanigans.
that you can do. It's a long. Well, you can also land somewhere earlier and tower if you want to. Along the sides.
And you cannot duck block. I have just tried. It's very close. I mean, no matter what you do, you will always be open in the back.
Can you dock block with 2 docks?
No, I've tried. At least, well, actually, no. I found a spot where you can. You can in the area.
You might be able to sail past the beach, though.
But then you could technically just make
You
a
could wall
there.
that if you need to, yeah.
I don't mind being able to duck block. I think it's a cool thing, and it's rather expensive and time consuming.
Yes.
So if people want to do that, I think it's a cool strategy to pull off. Other than that, it's really just arena with a ring of water. But
Yeah.
it's enough to make a really different and cool map.
You might be able to run units around the outside
I was thinking about that, but then there's still walls. I wish they had removed the walls on the
on the
outside
back.
so that you could still have like a interesting flanking route.
Well, players would
If
just
if they if they played in wall, obviously, but then just to make it
yeah.
a bit
Yeah.
more different from a normal arena. Is it different themes? It's always the same, right?
Yeah, the orientation. Okay, the resources can be on the outside. I just had a pile of gold on the out or stone on the outside, or not on the outside, but on the inside,
It
on the outside
looks
of the
like it's
inside.
just the neutral resources, so it
Yeah.
doesn't look like they're tied to any specific player. The very, very neutral ones, or maybe they are.
Uh, the distribution looks decent.
One thing I have noticed, I think, let me just do a few more gens. It's not that bad, but some players, I think there's no like the shorefish can spawn a bit unfairly. Sometimes players has a lot of shorefish towards them, towards the TC. Sometimes it spawns on the other side of the river.
Hmm.
Technically meaning, yeah, you could technically end up with a spawn where all the shorefish is on the other side. I
Is it
think.
the same for both players each time, though?
It not on my end. I have one here that just has one shorefish, and that could have just been on the other side if you're very unlucky.
Because
The other person has
I've had
four.
like 3-3. I've seen 1-1. 2. Yeah.
I mean, it's very minor, but this is the kind of thing that the players, when I make tournament maps, this is this thing that
Yeah, yeah, of
players
course, because
usually point it out.
they will mill or dock the shorefish and then want
Exactly.
the same number of shorefish as their opponent.
So that's the only thing that I see in terms of unfairness. Other than that,
It's
everything seems
sometimes
fine.
some of the resources get trapped just outside the walls in the back, but you can delete them if you need to get your sheep.
Right. Yeah, maybe an avoidance distance should be good. I also just had a gen with 4 relics, so.
This is just a general problem when trying to space relics on Arena.
Oh yes, we've probably all been there.
They're either too predictable or you miss one occasionally. Or they're
Yeah, and if you
three.
lose this too much, then they become too one-sided
Yeah.
sometimes. It's just yeah. I just want to point it out in case the creator is going to be watching this at some point. Could be something. Maybe needs slight tweaking. It doesn't happen that often.
I'm gonna make you a bit louder. There we go. Okay.
Also, sheep sometimes spawn outside.
Yes.
No, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about this map. It's arena with a river around it. It's nice. It works really well in terms of originality. It's obviously not the highest, but I do like it.
Yeah.
A
Then
Riverina.
check the next one is Wellsprings.
Wellsprings.
Which
Yeah.
players start inside walls with some gold. Major food source. A major food source on the map consists of an aqueduct which all players can gather from.
Oh, can you say that again?
Okay, so a major food source on the map consists of an aqueduct which all players can gather from. If any part of the aqueduct is destroyed, the entire thing will collapse along with all walls adjacent to it and remove the ability to gather food.
That's interesting.
That is an interesting mechanic.
That sounds like something my cat would made as well.
There's no stone in the player bases, only in the ruins outside the walls. Players can use the food boost to accelerate aggression or launch surprise attacks by destroying the aqueduct without the opponent having any warning.
Certainly unique. Okay, so I'm just opening it up
Yeah, that
in single page. You can gather from the aqueduct. There's a fish there.
I think this definitely needs to be tested in game.
Yeah. It's a shorefish with 30,000 food at the end of the aqueduct. It's very cool. And let's see if he goes to it as well. Is this the Mad Catter that made this?
Yes.
Is this if you like okay, like is this screams Mad Catter?
Do you actually see the shorefish? Oh.
No.
It is possible to click on it.
Kind of see it.
Yeah.
I think a few tries, but you can't click on it. And there's also one in the middle. I presume it acts identically.
Let's explore that.
Technically, because of how it bends, at least in my generation, one player kind of has two of them near him, while I only has one. No, wait, no, sorry, there's no shorefish there. There's only shorefish in the base. I'm just blind. And the villagers can only repair it. I need a ram.
The villagers. Are they? Can they even? They're. I have a scout cavalry. Alright. So you can't easily launch a surprise attack. Time to cheat. Actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
I'll do.
He mentioned that if one wall breaks, it will all break, right?
That's what he said.
Yes.
What's the
How did
cheat?
you pull
How
that
do you
off?
turn this on?
Aegis? Oh, right. Okay, I'm going up in H to make a ram. but
That's
like,
fair.
Your way is way better.
It's actually not, because the aqueduct has some sort of armor or is lacking armor. So you only do 1 damage per shot. The ram...
I have a ram now.
Yeah, just random random trivia. When I made an aqueduct arena, the ram did no building bonus damage to it. So it's actually
But
super
the arena
resistant.
does do here. I don't know if he changed it. Maybe he figured that out.
Probably
Whoa!
good to change it.
Yeah, you break one piece, the entire thing just falls apart. Plus 2 of your own pieces, so your base is open. And I think you mentioned this when you... I'm just watching your input. Take whatever. You know you can make multiple cards, right?
Yeah, then I have to type the message again. We can just speed up time.
Copy paste. I can definitely see this being because you can really create a surprise attack by breaking the wall in your base, and then you can run in with army as it breaks his wall as well.
It's a little bit gimmicky, but it's...
It's very gimmicky.
Yeah, if a player hasn't read the description or tried the map...
I do like, however, that it's the only gimmick. I mean, it's kind of 2 gimmicks. There's a gimmick that you can gather from it, and there's a gimmick that
You could destroy
breaks
it.
the walls. I'm generally not against gimmicks. I use them very sparsely myself, but I'm usually not against them as long as they're used sparingly.
Yeah.
I just really like the idea that you can break the enemy wall from your own wall and then surprise attack. It's gonna be some really cool.
How fast did it go with the ram?
Took like 15% of damage per hit.
Okay, so
Quite reasonable.
this Cobra car is not viable.
But then again, do you really need to break? Because there's not a lot of stuff inside your base. You basically have to go outside anyway.
Could you do it, with men-at-arms? Would it be worth
You
it?
could do men at arms. You break a wall that fast that your men at arms would be worth it.
That's what I'm wondering. Probably not.
Just yeah, I don't think so, but obviously I could be wrong. Yeah, when it says if the player participant doesn't prepare, he is the one to blame. To a certain extent, I would say. In this case, yeah, you should. Well, and I mean, it's not normal that when you break a wall, the entire wall disappears. So if you just look through the map, I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, then you need to read the description, sort of.
You need to read the description and you need to test it not in the scenario editor, but in
Yeah,
game.
it can be a bit much. I mean, I've played tournaments where I definitely haven't done that. I don't think I would be the only one.
So I hadn't read the description before. When I saw it submitted, I just assumed it was like an indestructible barrier that divides the map into two. This is more interesting.
Also worth noting that the shorefish disappears after it breaks.
Yes.
How did he even do that?
I mean, you can change the blast defense, perhaps on the shorefish, and make them destroyed by
Ah,
something.
yeah, maybe. I don't do these kind of effects very often. It's quite cool to see.
Yeah.
I'm always quite impressed by it. And the outside sparse wood. It's not acacia wood despite being sparse. It's just normal pine trees, but it looks really nice.
Well springs. I'll generate a few.
Oh, look at that! In this case, red wall wouldn't break. He would still get a one tile gap.
This is
But
true.
destroyed.
Yeah.
It's a very small thing. He would obviously still be open, but it would be much quicker and easier for him to. Well, not much, but it would be easier for him to wall behind it, I guess. Especially after the lumber camp there. I don't know how much of an impact that would have. It's just worth noting. We are here to be a bit picky. It does also serve as a sort of divider on the map.
If it's not destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess since it's a wall, your military units wouldn't automatically attack it.
Despite being walled, it is a fairly open map actually, because where do you take woods?
Oh,
Yeah,
at the back a little bit. But
sometimes it's tough for one player to take wood in the back, but yeah.
you have to be careful with the sparse wood. Deer are just scattered everywhere.
Let's see. This one was called Weld Springs, so I can give it in. I'll give it. Okay.
Yeah, very unique.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on when you are.
I will check what the next one is.
Given this one my internal little rating.
Alright, next we have Circle Prison.
Circle Prison. I am convinced that the most difficult part of map making is coming up with names. So any unique name we see here is already very impressive to me.
A lot of names that make sense have been taken already.
Exactly. All right. Again, very unique. It kind of reminds when I first see the minimap, I'm thinking of a planet. It looks like a
True.
planet in space.
Okay, so the wall is supposed to convert to players.
Why didn't they just make it player walls?
This is a good question. You could just place wall objects. Ah, can you though?
Sometimes there's some weird behavior with
Eh,
player objects in act areas. Is that you think that's the
No, no.
case?
The actually, yeah. What you could do is you could place them as second object player walls. You can't place it as a normal wall because
No.
those have special hard
Yeah, you
coding.
would used to use this a placeholder.
But the placeholder that would work, and then you wouldn't need to convert them. Because the wall starts as Gaia, it does not upgrade when reaching Castle Age. Maybe that's the reason for doing it that way, or maybe it's just
I feel like that's just a side effect.
it's
That's an
probably a
unintended
side.
side effect.
Yeah. So that could be a way to change the map.
Who made this one?
Hank made this one.
Okay. Well, I feel like he would know, but I don't know. He hasn't been super active. But yeah, I think placing a second object would be better. It makes sense that the walls should you should be able to upgrade your walls with as your H up.
Yeah. Unless the Gaia wall is supposed to actually be a prison and you have to break your way through, then you would have an
Right.
unconvertible wall. But if it's convertible, then you might as well give it to the player.
I think there are also ways. There are ways. Well, I guess not in this case. There are ways to make gates as well in circular walls if you
Uh,
know the
I
exact radius of the
those are the
wall.
I submitted maps that did that. We'll
I
get to
see. There
those.
you go. Because I think I've done that as well. But I think with the varying width like this, it's not these are not perfectly round. I don't know if
These,
it's possible then.
yeah, presumably these are placed on a terrain.
Yeah, I think so. Plenty of
Oh,
room
actually, I
inside.
just noticed something else. All the trees don't show up on the mini map, so they might be
Ooh, the
object
stackers.
trees. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all perfectly circular. Are they wait, are they created with are they placed with lands? Because how would you create circular shapes with actor areas? You would have to have like a origin
But
with a
there's
land
another
and
fun
you find
thing where
spaces.
if you do set circular placement on loosely grouped objects, I want to say, they become a circle rather than a square.
Wait, what?
It's
I was not aware of this.
uh, just a quirk that is
Sounds like
is
a
the
useful
case.
quirk. That sounds nice. I did not know about that. We could utilize that for some things. It kind of makes sense.
I think I also noticed this when I was placing object wood lines. That's the only time you would place so many in a small area.
It's also worth noting, but we spoke about the walls earlier. It could also just be intentional that you didn't want gates, so that when you break the wall, it is open.
True.
Um,
I mean,
I
players will
could be
then
assumed.
re-wall behind,
Yeah,
but
assume.
it does leave a
Well,
weak
if
spot.
you play Gothic humans, you'd have a tough time with stone walls. But
Resources, you have enough inside that you don't need to break out.
yeah, there's 4 deer, and they're all scattered. So not in a group. But berries are smaller. Gold's generally smaller. Stone is the same. You also start with more villages. Is this a 9 vill start? No,
3, 4, 5, 6, 8 will
this is
start.
8 villages.
I think also potentially th they'll be editing for this tournament and putting in Nineville starts at the last minute for
Okay.
all the maps, which I think makes sense on arena style usually.
Um, so a personal thing for me, I don't really like the black areas on the outside. I think it makes the map look very artificial. But it's just a personal preference. I think filling it up with something else, maybe just deep water or something, kind of Socotra style,
Hmm.
could look cool. Make it an island instead. So wish the trees on the outside would match the terrain a bit better somehow. But it's very minor things, and people could have different opinions on that. I think the map is pretty cool.
There are a lot of berries on the outside. Looking
Oh
around.
yeah, they're all the exact same shape. At least on my end.
Yeah,
I see yours is not that consistent.
no.
I have literally every single generation mine is the exact same. The same goes for the gold.
True,
Not too much
actually.
resources.
It must be. It must. Maybe they're all of these resources being are somehow doing this circular thing.
They must be because this is too
Yeah.
much to be a coincidence.
Huh.
Looks funny. Once you see it, it's hard to unsee.
Yeah, I didn't notice it directly, but you're right. I guess part of the theme.
No, I mean it's not really. It's just a thing.
Yeah,
It's not even bad. It's just also wish I could see more terrain blending in the spawn areas. It's just one terrain. Again, I'm being very nitpicky.
true, true. I do, I do pick on this too when I look at maps like this, and if there isn't enough terrain blending or if it's too uniform.
Hmm.
All right, next map.
Okay, this one was called Circle Prison.
Start looking.
Okay, next one was called what? Sorry,
Next one is
Leopard
Leopard
Island.
Island,
Okay.
and it has a long description, which players begin. The scout is a merchant that doesn't take up population space and can't attack.
Yeah, I've used him before. He's cool.
Snow leopards can be hunted for 20 food.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those are the big changes.
Okay. So the biggest gimmick is, I guess, huntable
Huntable.
predators.
Yeah, but only 20 food, so.
Yeah, it's hardly worth to go get them.
Well, what happens is your villager gets attacked trying to do something else, and then it kills the snow leopard, and then automatically gathers from it and brings it back, and whatever forward building you wanted to build doesn't get built.
It won't get. Oh, right. So it's
Because your
actually just.
villager decides to become a hunter.
So it's actually just a negative.
Well, you do get the food.
You get. Well, depends what you build.
Yeah, no, that's at least that was my experience in the past with this mechanic is that because it disrupts your
Right, right.
villagers that you've sent somewhere else, or at least one of them, you have to be aware of it.
It's not even that I don't. I kind of like the idea of huntable predators. It's just I wish you would either go all in or nothing because this feels too little to be impactful. Uh, and then why even have it in the first place? But
There aren't too
the,
many
the
either.
eye group of three,
Oh, there are three.
so it's generally
Ah,
like 60, and it's very quick, right?
yes.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you something because I'm being a bit weirded out here. Am I being, am I going insane, or is the shorefish or the deep fish some weird size?
Is there a
Something is off.
medium fish?
Am I
Mm,
going insane? I think it's a deep fish. They seem
has
slightly smaller, or is it the other way around?
I don't think I have a mod that changes this.
No, but it's on my end as well. The oh yeah, the shorefish definitely they take up more than a tile.
Is this a change in the game or?
No, 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 no. I think this is definitely just this map. Like they're like 1.5 tile.
Ah, yeah.
Right?
No, they are. They are.
Okay, a normal shorefish is just one tile.
Think.
Actually,
Ah,
I've been making
I'm
math for a long time. I feel like I would know this,
I'm gonna reload.
but now I'm starting to doubt my reality.
Some water terrain. So,
Oh, that's gonna say the leftover script in the previous map. Or it could be from because he's probably increased it for that map with the aqueduct. You can gather
Yeah.
from it. So that's almost definitely it.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the reason,
Yeah. So it's nothing to
presumably.
do with this map.
So if I reload
Yeah.
now,
Thanks for pointing that out. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. The mangrove terrain catches me off a bit because it's just snow in any area where there's also mangrove. Maybe there is.
I think
Seems
the
very
snow is
tropical to me.
probably supposed to be waves or something like that.
But
Oh
there's
no,
also
but there's
snow
snow
on
in the
the
middle of the
main
map.
island.
No.
For me, it's like
Yeah.
the clashing themes.
It's possible to use the mangrove terrain as a sort of snowy swamp, but we also have mangrove trees, of course,
Yeah.
which you wouldn't have somewhere where
I
it's
mean, maybe it can
snow and
happen. I
ice.
don't know. I've never seen it in my life. Um, the overall map, it's a lot of forest. Seems very difficult to play.
I feel like these groups of leopards are also not consistent. There are three. Like I have one where one player has groups of three next to them, and the other player is a group of one, a group of two.
Yeah, and even if you have some close, the forest can sometimes
Yeah,
completely. But again, I just can't see the predators being particularly useful with that amount of food. It was only 20, right?
yeah. I mean, you have water, so that's where you go for food.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wish he would have gone more or nothing. Because the gimmick seems pointless if you don't go emphasize on it. I also don't think the mangrove terrain. I mean, it's fine that it's there. I don't mind it being there, other than that it clashes. But I don't think the mangrove terrain in itself serves any purpose. Like I don't think you'll have any land units out there.
You
There is a
wouldn't.
little bit of
Yeah, there's a little bit of
gold.
gold. Yeah,
Yeah, is it normal? Maybe we should open it up.
I didn't read anything about the gold being different. It's not enough gold that it's worth going out though for that.
You should have, unless it's very late game, you have to be quite desperate.
You could pick up the relics.
Less relics out there. Oh yeah, I guess there is some reason to go out there. The gold mines is even smaller than normal. The gold on the outside have 450.
Huh?
Don't they have 800 normally?
Yes.
So they're even less intensive. I don't understand that either, personally. If you were to ask me, if you were to change it, you should make it double or something, or just increase the size.
Yeah, you need a bit more to make the outside.
It's true that there's more buildings space, but it's so exposed. Like if you lose water,
No,
you will lose all the buildings. If you build houses and
you
stuff.
can't afford to build there unless you completely control water.
Yeah, I don't think I understand the intention. But you also start with a fishing ship each player, which is nice.
But no dock, so you can scout a bit and then build a dock.
I feel like the creator doesn't exactly. Who created this?
I will check. Buyer 7. Here?
Uh, I don't know him or her,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the intention is. I guess I feel like he's trying to do too many or too few things.
Okay, they also wrote that the map was originally conceived with water play in mind, but they decided to submit it anyway.
Right.
And
The criteria
yeah,
actually did say that it should be very limited water
and
play, shouldn't it?
as a water map, it's perhaps more interesting than as a walled map. Because then it's okay that the center is quite closed.
Still very. It seems annoying to play with all that forest. It's not only forest; it's also just a lot of elevation. So building placement is even tougher.
Yeah, you're very much limited to your own base.
Probably oysters, but antiquity mode is disabled in editor. Maybe. I don't think we're testing antiquity mode, so.
There is probably an option in the scenario editor.
I don't think there is, but we will.
Secondary game. I don't know.
Again, the entire map is the map is named. Was it Leopard what? Called Leopard Island. So I wish they had played more into the leopard theme.
Wow, the spotty patches of snow. Spotty forests. Maybe. I
Oh
feel
well.
like, yeah. I just have a generation here where I think I only have 2 villagers.
Oh yeah, I see.
That's something to look into.
Maybe they're overlapping. Can you try and move them?
I can do that.
Because they are placed with flags, which I guess flags can overlap.
Ah, yes, they're overlapping.
I don't know. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's not critical. I wonder why they spawned them with flags, by the way.
This is a good question.
I hope because they spawn on tile. I think normal villagers will spawn off grid.
Oh, no, they would spawn on tile as well.
Oh, okay.
It's,
Then that's an interesting decision.
or if the whole map was made of lands, but I don't think that's the case. Doesn't look like it.
No, it looks like a normal land generation.
No.
I think this is too much forest. I would definitely decrease the forest if I were to give any feedback and make the outside a bit more usable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then stick to one theme. And then, considering you named the map Leopard Island, I would put more emphasis on the leopards. Or change the name. One of the two.
I will check what the next map is.
Yes.
Next one is Melon.
Melon?
Melon. Get this one, wait, what's it called? DD1v1 Melon.
Are you saying it's called Double D Melons? Or
Well,
Double D
it's
Melon?
probably called Danger Duck.
Okay. Maybe.
Yes.
Oh. I mean, you didn't have to tell me it's Danger Duck. It's
True.
immediately.
True. With the
He also has a very certain style of putting stuff on top of shorefish.
yes.
He loves putting stuff on shorefish. I don't know why, but it just screams Danger Duck.
So there are some changes on this map. Multiple TCs can be built. Wait. Multiple TCs can be built from Dark Age. Villagers that are untasked or engaged in combat move faster but have less HP. Transport ships are slower but can fly. And I guess these are all things that could be disabled.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm not judging it based on what can be removed.
But if all of them were active, so you have transport ships that can pass
Fly?
through any terrain. If you have,
Also walls?
yeah, I think so.
It's a flying unit, I guess so.
Well, I think the collision size is just removed. I think that's how you implement it.
But you have flying objects in the game, right? So it is possible.
True. I don't know exactly how
Is
it's
that
set
okay?
up. The villagers.
Okay, so that's a lot of different things there already.
Yeah. Probably.
You also have to cut through to
Yeah.
the middle.
Okay, let's look at the map itself. Middle with fish.
That's a lot here. There's zebras on the shorefish. There's ostriches on the stone. There's
Yes.
ostriches on the trees.
Trees.
Do they run away, or are they stuck until you chop it?
I think they run away.
Okay. Also from the stone.
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't
Okay.
use this in my maps. And
um, I wonder if there's probably something under the gold as well, but I can't see anything.
he used to do the swordfish under the golden stone, but
Yeah.
that's tricky because it's hard to click which one you want.
Um, Again, another map with walls without a gate.
True.
I don't mind that as much. I mean, it's fine. There's so many different gimmicks that I have a hard time figuring out how this one would play out.
I mean, even if you ignore the sort of extra gameplay change gimmicks and just look at the map itself, it's still. Hmm.
I kind of like the core design. It reminds me of that map called something Reefs, maybe African Reeds. Whereas the inside and the outside.
Yeah.
That also has shellfish.
The inside is food heavy and gold. The outside brings more food and gold. Stone.
The relics are nicely distributed, at least on my end. 2 on the outside on each side, 2 on the inside on each side, and 2 in the very middle on each side.
I,
So the
I
relics are very evenly distributed.
I have the ones on the outside are less even on my generation, but
Oh yeah, I see.
that might be something where you just have them be per player to ensure that they're fairly distributed.
Wallhalla 1 had a similar map called Fortified Clearing. I've heard that map is super sick. By the way, what's with the 4 patches of the same straggler as well in the middle? I guess I just don't understand where this is coming from. Like, yes, these 4, like in the center area, this is groups of 4 stragglers. That's all identical. What's the?
Unless these stragglers have extra wood, you are
Let me open it up quickly.
super short on wood,
They
and
probably do.
you have no wood lines inside your walls.
Okay, yeah. By the way, the ostriches do run away from the stragglers, and uh, the wood has all the wood has. Well, no, the stragglers have 125 wood.
That's
The
normal for
normal wood under the
stragglers.
ring has 100.
Oh right, these are the scenario editor stragglers.
I think always do they always have 125?
It's like tree J or K or something. Those
Peculiar.
those do have more.
Never known.
Well, if you take just like a tree pine, that one will have 100.
Okay,
F.
so all the animals do run out of their resources
That's important.
eventually, but it confuses me why they're there to begin with.
I think originally he did it because it was a way to make sure that they spawned properly. But I
I
think
just
now he's just keeping it as a gimmick.
yeah, I mean, so if I were to give any notes, obviously, I personally think it's way too many gimmicks in one map. I think the core design is interesting enough.
Yeah.
It's, but I commend it, and that he's always creating like basically like a small mini game within his maps, almost like an entirely different game. Which, if you're into that kind of stuff, then it's really cool. It's a lot to keep track of,
Yes.
especially in a tournament.
I also would like more terrain mixing.
Oh yes, there's basically 4 terrains: the outside terrain, the sport terrain, the central terrain, and the border terrain. And there's nothing that inherently blends them together. It's obviously purely aesthetically, but we have the options. Hold on, let me just quickly try it just for fun now, because I'm curious. Want to see the the trade cart.
Oh, it's what is it? Transport ship.
Jeez.
Was it?
It's a transport ship.
Yes.
Wait,
Did I read the description wrong? Let me double check.
no.
Transport
No.
ships are slower but can fly.
Okay, I missed that. So basically, you can make a transport ship. You can run.
You
Just
can,
drop it off in the enemy base anywhere.
but you have to dock the middle to be able to build the dock in the first place to
Yeah.
get the
I
transport.
can see why the dock is a bit more. No, give me 30 seconds and I'll tell you.
You can, if you one of the launch options, you can then speed up your game to 8 times speed.
Oh yes. Let's see. Actually, it doesn't work at all. Did I remove the hotkey? Okay, the transport ship is slower than an elephant.
So
It's like a ram.
prop ship incoming.
Okay, I really should try it. It looks hilarious.
Alright, I will.
And it goes straight through the wall. Oh.
I also started with a weird amount of resources.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
Should double check that.
I mean, it's hilarious. I'll give him that. It reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean, with the Flying Dutchman. Or something.
He's used that mechanic before in various constellations.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's fantastic. I would never use it in a tournament, but it's a hilarious schematic. It's a whole different game.
Yeah, I try to avoid changing core game mechanics
Yeah.
unless you're specifically doing a tournament for that. Incoming.
You just yes.
Oh, this thing is so slow.
You start with 269.
Yeah.
And we also start with 105 stone. So it's called Double D Melon. It's 69 wood and it's 105. This is not a coincidence.
Ah. And I thought it was because the map looks like a melon.
I
It doesn't
cannot
really.
believe that. Guys, onto something.
Oh no, these guys are builders now. I need to turn them back into villagers, attack something. Oh, and the AI, of course, built the second TC in Dark Age because it could. Yes. Very good.
Okay, well, I think I've seen enough.
Alright.
I mean, it's a lot to see here, but
Yes.
it doesn't feel like it's gonna. It's a cool thing. I don't think it fits at a tournament, but yeah, others might have a different opinion on that.
So, I will check what the next one on our list is. And it's called Second Home.
Love the name. How many maps are there here? Are we going too slow?
Just
I have all night.
you have all night or you don't?
I do have all night.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
So we've
Okay.
taken an hour and we've gone through what, 5 maybe?
And how many were there?
23 total, it seems.
Okay. Ah,
That's all right. I can spend a couple hours doing this.
yeah. Okay. All right. Again, is this also Danger Duck?
Yes.
Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Which I could have guessed as well by looking
See,
at
this
it.
this one doesn't have double D in the front, so it's definitely on purpose. Yes, because there's immediately fish in the ground and a cow on top. And he also could not resist putting a flying dog in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. All right, so I mean, let's take a look at it. This is basically 2 times nomad start. I don't have a
Yes.
TC in my bases.
Yes. And you're supposed to choose which of the 2 bases you build your TC in.
Unless you have more resources. Let me just open it up.
No, this one, yeah. Choose which arena to build your starting TC in, and the other one has extra villagers. The center is blockable with a single dock. Uh,
Yeah. So you have to choose, and I guess you can either just make a mill to collect the food, or go to the other base, but you have to break the walls. Also, by the way, the dog is not yours. I thought it was a player flying dog, but it's not. It's just a bird.
okay, so it's not your scout.
No. Have you ever made a map with a flying dog in it?
I have. I've put it into hyper random, and I put it into a map
Oh,
called
right. Of course, you can have a hyper.
extraterrestrial.
Oh, okay.
Not
Quite
in
fitting, I guess.
not in a normal medieval setting map.
You can select it for some reason. That's not normal, right? Is that normal? You can't select normal birds.
Are you in a game or in?
Yeah, no. I mean, you can actually select it in game.
I think you. I think you can, so that you could. So the Easter egg, you can actually check what the name is.
Ah, maybe it
Maybe.
is. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I would have a lot of notes on this map. There's a cracked terrain, which is supposed to be this really dry terrain, surrounded by a bunch of wet stuff. Uh, doesn't make much sense to me. There's blind dogs. There's fish in the ground.
I think it's for gameplay reasons, right? To have the gold rush area be
Yeah.
harder to hold, and but then you can still mask the cracked terrain in cases like that.
Yeah.
Very hilly.
Mm-hmm. Um, I also don't really understand the gimmick. I would like the two bases to be different so that it would be a choice.
So they are identical.
It looks identical to me. Because right now, like, if okay, do I want to go for maybe this side has these attributes or the other side that has these
True,
attributes? It
true.
might depend on what civ I'm playing. But you might as well just start with a TC on one of the sides. Basically, it's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because
no.
it doesn't make
So yeah, if they were different, then you'd have to choose. Do you start with more food or more
exactly.
gold or something? In this case, the only thing maybe is okay. You don't know which of your opponent's bases you need to push, but
But even that, you could randomize that, and you would
yeah.
not know as well.
Also, I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe you just send your villagers to your main base immediately.
Yeah, I don't know which one makes most sense, but you should mill or send. That's gonna ask if the correct terrain is fixed. I believe it was fixed, right?
The that you
Correct
can get
terrain.
rid of it with farms.
Yeah,
That
I
was
believe that was fixed a while ago.
supposedly fixed. I didn't, or maybe I did even test it. I think that was fixed.
I think it was fixed at least before the recent Red Bull event, because it was quite crucial. I used it a lot in those maps.
But that's been around for a really long time though. That you could delete it,
Yeah.
and also that was originally that caused out of syncs as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, initially with African kingdoms.
Map doesn't have a lot of relics, just 3 relics in the middle, at least on my generation,
True. Yeah, 3.
which is, I guess, fine.
And there's okay. So all the gold is in the middle and in the bases. All the stone is in the dividers. And no
Yep.
other neutral resources.
Second. Oh. Also elevated shallows, which looks a bit off to me.
Let me test.
Um,
It can be hard to dock elevated shallows. Yeah. Or it can be hard to dock. You can't dock slopes.
really interested to see how many players have gone for the walls with no gates. It's interesting. It's been more submissions than there has
True,
this.
true.
Oh, and there's steer inside the berries. I just saw that now.
Yep.
They're just hiding.
They were hiding. I mean that
That kind of makes
thematically
sense.
works.
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
I'll give him that.
The having deer in the berries. Maybe you could have goats or ibex on rocks.
It's the same issue as before. She basically has a terrain for each sort of block
Yes.
of the map,
No.
but nothing that blends between them or an interesting blending on it. I'm ready to move off this one.
Sure. The next one is Rorina, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
What's the first letter?
K. And
Let's see.
KR.
Oh yeah, Crorena? I don't know what that I letter, what sound that makes.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
Oh, already.
Okay.
It's very interesting. They're using the winter
Color
biome
correction.
on the
Yeah.
desert, which makes a cool effect. I like it.
There start. No gates again. To delete walls to get out. That's.
Are the walls broken? Oh yeah, all the walls are slowly destroyed. Yeah.
The wall. All the gold is behind walls of scattered ruins. The walls only have 600 HP, so you can get villagers and other units that. So you can get. Oh, so you can get garrisonable. Wait. The walls only have 600 HP, and you can get villagers by garrisoning the towers to get into the ruins.
You can garrison Gaia towers?
Apparently,
Cool.
I did not know that was the case. I know you can garrison allied ones. We'll have to test that. Okay, the birch trees have 500 wood in the center, and the reeds have 100. And
I was going to say the birch tree seems a bit out of place, but yeah, well.
4
Go
Gaia
for it.
monuments. When destroyed, the rubble of the monuments leaves behind a relic.
Okay.
And the Gaia
Yeah.
camps are decoration. They don't interact with players.
They're also inside the forests. There's also random Gaia villages.
Yes, yeah. So
scattered.
those supposedly just are decoration.
Okay.
They might be convertible with a monk.
Oh.
If at that point in the game it might not be worth it, but that's
Right.
I think you can convert Gaia units in general. I mean that you can also prevent that if you give them the right flags. Hero status.
Oh, you convert the towers.
Ah,
Oh.
is that how you?
So the first one to get all the towers is huge advantage. It's fortified towers. They're quite powerful. I don't know if I like that.
Do they convert back?
I can't. Oh, you can. Can't you change between players somehow? Shift something?
Oh, alt. There is. There is a way to do it. I don't know it.
Yeah, I haven't done that for a long time.
If I just.
It's typical because the Gaia, the AI doesn't know how to access their walls.
Okay, so you convert your own walls. They were originally Gaia walls.
Again, another player started doing that. Interesting. Control shifts. Oh yes, thank you. what would we do without you, Death Counter?
Amrmindu, Bebot Boy.
Oh, there's also piles of wood. There's a lot of wood in them. I don't know. Maybe you already mentioned that.
Which ones?
Inside the forest, some forest, there's like these piles of wood.
Ah,
There's 1,000 wood in it.
it's just exploring.
Okay, no, the towers don't attack apparently, and you convert them back. So it's
Okay.
not as bad as I thought.
That's probably better if it's like that.
I do like the ruined look of all the walls.
짜짜 팀에
It looks like a really like war zone in a desert.
삐벗어요.
The birch trees
세크르
Birch trees have
stand out for me as being a bit of an odd.
out of place.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't spent that much time in the desert, but I don't remember.
This is probably a specific location. Although I don't... There's nothing in the description
Right.
saying exactly.
Well, I mean, the nagging circle is at 9.
멋져.
Can you... You can't even select the Gaia units here. Do they... Oh, they're... The Gaia units...
Raulan-
Oh, maybe they're not even real units. Maybe they're... objects that have been given a different appearance.
Have you tried converting it, or?
I couldn't... the villager occupies an entire tile.
Oh, oh, that's peculiar.
삐벗어요.
Definitely some trickery going on there as well.
барилгач.
You too many gimmicks for my sake.
세크르
For my, yeah.
티모 барилгач.
Like, I don't see why you would have these piles of woods in the forest. There's plenty of wood on the map.
I haven't seen these piles. Just in the...
I have them.
You have small trees?
Yes.
Okay. They are not
Oh
visible.
no, sorry. It's just no. They just spawn next to the yurts, and one of my yurts just happened to spawn inside the forest. You can see it in your top above you. It's like these camps, these small camps.
Oh, they have
Like a
wood
bit of
in
wood.
there. Oh. Ah.
Yeah, and one of my camps just happens to spawn inside the forest.
Ah, okay, okay. I guess that's okay.
No, I just don't see the use for it. Because
There's plenty of wood. There is no use. It's just thematic.
and then I just think it's too much when you have too many gimmicks in one place, it becomes crowded. Because I don't mind having a wide pile of wood, but if you don't need it, I don't think you should add it because that's one more gimmick to keep track of. Between a lot of them already.
True.
I do like the blending on the map. There's a lot more blending, at least especially the map spawns.
Yeah, so I can't convert these Gaia units are not
Yeah,
actually
they
units.
seem to be also not moving at all, are they?
I think they must be like
They're like
rocks,
no animations. not
rocks
even
that have been
animation.
given the graphics of it,
Yeah,
villagers.
yeah, it's literally just a static. Yeah. It's like statues. It's an interesting approach. In terms of resources, there's no gold near any players. It's all inside the player. Those things.
Yes. I guess
some
that's the main gimmick, right?
Yeah. Stone can be a bit unfair. I have on my generation stone right next to me. My opponent doesn't have any stone anywhere near him. Well, somewhat near.
Seems to be just randomly distributed.
Yeah, maybe it'd be wise to give each player just one stone so that you can rely on that. Again, these circles of wood. Is this also Henk?
No. And these trees are also... They're showing up
Oh, yeah,
green
these
on my minimap.
It's just me, they look very circular, all of them. Like too circular. How did he achieve that? He could use that trick where you put a terrain underneath them, something, right?
It might be that. They're all one type of... Are they? Olive? These are all olive trees. There's no olive tree terrain, so that's what this is. Maybe?
Unless you change the graphic of the tree or something. Or like change
Yeah.
It looked like you were using the same approach. Something that seems to be quite popular. I have never done that before. And I definitely have to look into that. It does create some slightly artificially looking forest, but in some cases it could be useful to get the evenness. The reach also has 100 wood. It doesn't really matter, but it is more than normal.
Yeah, and the birch have 500.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot. Can you even...
Oh, can you dock? Can you even build there? That's a good point.
You can't even build in the middle, so I feel like the birch trees with 500 wood is kind of pointless. Wait, am I just Marco Polo? I forgot.
I think it's beach terrain, actually.
It looked like beach terrain to me.
There's quicksand is layering in the middle, but you can build on that. Middle... So the very center you can't. Dock. No dock.
Frank found the object forest. He made an Arabia entirely without terrain gen. Interesting. Yeah, I don't understand the middle. Obviously, it's fine that you can destroy some buildings to get relics. Also seems a bit excessive, by the way, considering how much HP they have. Why the trees? Why the 500 HP? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe this place is known for having these monuments inside of this really dense forest, and that's why. I don't understand it entirely. This one was called... Right, it was called Korea.
This one was... Yeah. Crorina.
Okay.
By Xing. Xing
You
Xing.
want to move on?
Yeah, sure. We have the next one is called Ruorgai. R-U.
Interesting names. Ruorgai, yeah. Oh. Okay. Right off the bat. First of all, same person made the map. I can tell you that much. Who was it again? Did I know them?
Xing or Xing.
Okay.
I think it's a Chinese creator.
Yeah. They have some really cool themes. Something here stands out as being quite unique as well. I can't quite put my finger. What's those next to the rocks? Next to all the rocks, there's some weird rock object that looks.
So these are cliffs.
Oh, it's a cliff.
Yeah, you can see them actually on the mini map. They're very short cliffs.
Oh yeah, you're
Or
absolutely right.
cliff object, cliff.
Do they all have the same bounding block? Because they're quite wide. Like they're quite.
I think they've been placed as objects.
Do they have? Maybe they have less. I really like the swamp look here. It looks cool. I need to open it to see how the middle works because there's a lot of forms.
I will check the description. So Regicide Fortress, Middle Lowland is a mosaic of reeds and indestructible farms. You can harvest the farms with multiple villagers at the same time, but they only have 190 food on them.
There's also all these wonders around your base that are these monasteries. You have a pagan shrine.
The wild water buffaloes that behave like deer.
That looks really fun. I can see it. Yeah, you're converting all the... Oh. All my villages together from the same farm at the same time.
Yeah. Can you rebuild the farm though?
Well, it doesn't replant. It doesn't go out. It just keeps having the same.
Oh, is it
amount of
infant? Oh.
It looks really fun. Like just like 50 villagers gathered from the same farm.
And it says that the farms only have 190 food on them in the description. I see 15 food.
At least I don't see it deplete. Yeah, I see 15. It doesn't deplete. It might have a limit eventually.
Maybe the farm production is depleting. Let's do a test.
He copy pasted all his little
camps. Yeah.
camps over. Also, a bunch of birds in the map. I have like a line of birds. I think it's a bug.
There are a
They're all
lot on my
going-
starting screen. They're not in a line, but
Yeah, I have that line.
that's just bird things.
захир
I need a mill for this job.
Oh yeah, my farm depleted.
Okay, that's probably good. There's no infinite.
It's fun to farm buffalo, must have been. Hunt them, sorry.
Timo.
There's some unbuildable terrain among the unwalkable terrain
Vi Bosroya.
among all the farms. Pathing is super strange.
Is
Timo Bosroya.
the wolves in the middle? Ah, this the water terrain there.
Yeah, some of it is very difficult to see. Some is a bit more obvious.
I think you can walk all of it though. Oh, maybe not. No. Oh,
There are
no, you
places
can't.
where I can't walk. It's weird.
Oh, can you? Hmm.
Time. Vi Bosroya. Time.
Oh, that's weird.
Timo.
захир тийм ээ би бол гоё
This terrain is fine, but yeah, you're right. Those puddles. But you can build on them.
Also, buildings spawn inside forests. I don't see a use for the pagan shrine. All those.
I think those are
monasteries.
just decoration as part of the wall.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a bit much, personally.
You can garrison in the pagan shrine,
бэлэн байна би болоо
You can.
maybe, or maybe not.
Is
You can
it,
garrison relics in it.
Is it a monastery? Like, is it supposed to be a monastery? Is that how it sort of acts? in the-
I think it's a monastery. Yeah.
Matching.
I do like
Vi Bosroya.
where she's going with the theme. Looks cool. This really rocky, gravelly. The mountains can it's really difficult to make mountains appear good.
Yeah.
They do kind of fit here. Obviously, the grassy terrain, the grassy edge on the gravel doesn't look particularly amazing.
That's just hard with mountains always.
Yeah, but I do commend him for trying. It's so difficult.
Bitten
тийм
by.
ээ
Timo. Zaza.
I think he has so much potential. He's really good at theming the maps, and I think they look really cool. I think he's overdoing the gimmicks a bit, but that's probably. I'm also very conservative, and that's going to be my feedback on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, aesthetically it's very nice.
Yeah,
тийм
Maybe a bit too much unusual stuff going on.
за амар минь би бол зүй тийм ээ бэлэн байна
let me
би
just see
бол
what other
тийм
people
ээ
say about these things. Maybe I'm just like super
зүйтэй би бол гоё
conservative.
захир
It depends on what kind of event the map is being used in always. but-
бэлэгчин
Yeah,
амар минь дүү
You can dock the shallows.
yeah. I don't see much use because there's no
Although,
fish in it.
demos-
Oh, there's some shorefish. There's some groups of shorefish.
тийм үү
Anching.
Okay, you can't actually sail to the middle.
Does building a building on the water, deleting it, make it walkable? Walkable.
Depends on what kind of building.
захир
Try building
I
a
don't
farm.
believe so.
барилгачин
I think it does. Let's see.
бэлэн байна
Barilgaчин.
Oh,
Vi Bosroya.
Oh.
Time.
It's
Go away, farm. Delete.
амар минь дүү
Oh, it's an expired farm. It needs to fully die.
бэлэн байна захир модчин
It looks like it's just still going around.
тийм ээ бэлэн байна модчин
Yeah, it seems it's still not. Maybe the. Well, no, it shows up on the mini map. It is actually water terrain.
захир
Ah.
модчин би бол гоё
Need this farm to rot faster.
Yeah.
Ah, now let's see if I can walk there.
Don't think
Yes.
you can.
No, no. No, you can't.
But I think it's an object that's blocking you.
Okay, that could be.
Not actually the terrain. Or it's maybe the fact that the terrain has been fixed so that it doesn't change the properties.
In any case, I don't think that that's something that should be there. It just adds extra frustration.
I would say decrease the gimmicks, stick to a few or maybe one or two that you want to do, and then because the rest seems pretty cool. Otherwise, it's a pretty standard map. It looks nice. I don't think it'll. There's some water elements. Water is not dominating. What was this one called again?
This one was called Ruar Guy.
Okay. Okay, next one.
Next one is Emigration.
Immigration.
With an E.
Oh, does that mean something different?
Yes, the opposite of immigration.
Oh. I also learned something today.
Ah, yes, I was helping give advice on how to get the wall concept to work for this one.
Okay, so are you telling me all those huts are not there when you just spawn in?
Players start with neutral arenas and have to decide whether their villagers emigrate north or south, or if they place a starting TC outside the base. The northern part has short finish. A unique feature of the map is the forced divide on where to expand early. A saboteur can be clicked on a neutral wall but not damage it. Instead, its AoE will clear the pavilions outside the wall so that the siege tower is able to hop units over the wall. The neutral wall can be damaged by military units, but not the starting saboteur. The wall is 500 HP with the pavilions 250. Okay, we need to test this.
Okay.
In game.
Yeah, immediately it's the kind of map that just needs to go into the actual game. It sounds like a lot again, but let's see. I don't want to judge it too quickly.
I think all of these he's trying to have come up with interesting gameplay ideas.
I mean, he's definitely being. It's just what creator is this?
This, well, take a look at what where the cow is.
Yeah, I was saying, it looks like Danger Duck again, but
It
there's
is.
a gap between the maps, so I thought.
And no, it is. It's Danger Duck again.
Yeah. The sea tower is so slow.
Is it? I think that's as fast as a siege tower normally is.
No, that can't be true. Built with villagers have to be way faster.
Mine is empty.
It didn't increase in size and speed at all.
Oh, there's still doesn't increase. Okay, so you blow up a wall.
Also worth saying, if you forget where you blew up the wall,
The wall
good
didn't
luck finding it.
didn't
No, like you break the huts behind.
the huts
it.
behind. So if you break the north, you can't see what you're doing.
Exactly, that happens to me as well.
Okay, it
So you
worked,
remember
but
Team
I don't even know how many huts I destroyed. I'm gonna restart and try it on the south.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Timo, Zaza,
Alright, so it reveals the whole thing once you see it. Then you just go and blow up. Okay, it makes a pretty big gap.
What do you mean, death counter script what?
I mean, you can look at the actual script if anyone's interested in how these things are scripted, the files are all available on the submissions channel. You can see all is done.
I guess actually it's a good question. Maybe it's just probably just like blast armor, blast resistance, or something. You can change that, right?
Yeah, you can change that. But I helped out with this map trying to.
It's all
yeah.
bonus damage, right? You can remove that from the Gaia units.
Like there was some gameplay reason why these walls needed to be gate pieces, because you couldn't place a normal wall. I don't remember the exact reason. It didn't work for the concept for some reason. And you can't get your villagers back. That's the point. I see. All right.
Yeah, once you've decided. But there's no way you would ever go south. There's no food there. You would never be able to pick up. You have to go north.
Could you stay in the middle? If you just
I would actually, honestly, if I play this map, I would just stay in the middle. You have tuna. You have cows, but I don't think cows can jump the wall. You have berries.
Yeah, you harvest all your food inside. You have wood, some. Gold. Oh. South. Okay, there's a tiny bit of food at the very bottom. Well, no, there's more. There's some rhinos and zebras and lions, which you'll run into before building your TC and getting loom.
I don't think you would ever build a TC outside the walls, but you could. You have to decide later, I guess, where you want to go.
True, actually, right. That's no. What we let's see how fast military units can break this wall. Not very quickly.
No, I guess you will need to siege.
You can't tell what your opponent is doing. So, if you wanted to raid your opponent, you would have to blindly make a decision.
Yep. I guess that's kind of the charm. I should try and do. Yeah, I think you're right, Akon. He could just start his match with a TC. It's a lot of wasted time. I wouldn't mind it if there was a choice. If you made both sides somewhat... well, they are different, but actually make them usable.
I mean, is the north just better?
I think so.
You even have
It has resources and food. It
you
has
have
some.
gold even.
Just a fun fact, by the way, not that it matters very much. Well, maybe it could matter. The left and the east and west woodlines seems to be stragglers because of the teleports.
True.
Technically, chop through it pretty quickly.
Also
if
the
you
middle.
really pay attention. Oh yeah.
Can you delete? Let's test that.
I would assume. Yeah, so much can happen these days. Can't trust anything.
There is also a neutral market at the bottom.
Yeah.
But typically those don't actually come into play, even when you try to make them a thing on a map. Yeah, so you could palisade delete your way through if you wanted to.
Just worth noting. Don't know how. I guess you could do some really cool surprise attacks.
I think you would need to, otherwise you'd be stuck entirely on one half. I know you just militarily.
Unless you break through.
Yeah, you just
unless
break
you
through your own walls with siege. Probably less work.
But more resources.
True.
Well, yeah. Classic
Sweet, eh?
Danger Dark map again.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
It's tried another unique idea.
I mean, I'll give him that. As much as I personally wouldn't want to play these maps too much, I will commend his creativity. They're definitely very, very different, and I commend him for trying new stuff. I think it's really cool, and he does have his own style.
Yeah.
So keep it up. What is the name of the next one?
The next map is called Ice Shield Arena.
That sounds cool. Whoa! Okay, my first question is, can you duck it? I don't think you can. It looks like the the rock ice.
Well, with ice, you always have to be careful. Can you sail it? But if you can't dock it, then you can't sail it.
Yeah, you can't duck it.
You can't.
What? Oh, you can duck the middle.
You can sail on the middle.
Yeah. You can also duck the middle. The ice is slightly different. You can kind of
Okay.
see it's
Yeah.
slightly more white teal. Yeah. Okay. But you can't sail the outside ice.
No.
Okay, so you can sail the middle basically.
You can sail the little tiny puddles with shorefish.
Good luck. You can't even place a duck there. So it's basically more limited arena. I can't know the circular wall, the circular forest.
The wood. These are object wood lines again.
Yeah, I'm really out of the loop, man.
I do they? I'm gonna quickly check in game. Do they show up in game? No, right?
No, there's not a single forest in this map according to the minimap.
I don't like that for the mini map in game. The capture rate shows them as wood lines,
Yeah.
but that doesn't help players when they're playing. Oh no! Wait.
Wait, what? Since
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Are they?
someone
It's
used
the
that trick.
it's the foundation terrain thing.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that was still showing in
In the in scenario
Yeah,
editor.
okay,
That's
sorry about
fine
that.
then in that case because
Yes, that's perfectly good. I spoke too soon. Perfectly reasonable map. I mean, just limited building area, a middle for food. It's going to be quite tricky to regain water if you lose it, and it could give you a big advantage. But
it's not that much food.
it's also map control. You can easily go. Like,
It's not though because you can't sail anywhere, right?
I guess you can't really reach the forest on the outside.
Yeah, with a cannon galleon you can do a little bit, but
Both players have like this little. No, not on your end.
depends. Sometimes they have a forward.
Yeah,
Or
this thing
this.
going through their
This.
base, but it's not even saleable, so it doesn't really matter. Well, then it's,
It only matters you can't re-wall that section if it gets destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And you can't build on that.
These random puddles on the outside are kind of useless, but I like them because they look nice aesthetically. So it's okay. I don't see anyone really gathering food from them.
No. Maybe if they're close.
Yeah, but either way, it's fine. Sometimes you can do it just for the aesthetics, and I think that it works in this case. Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's
It's
it's a
feels
bit.
like it's not a lot happening because we
Yeah,
just had like 5 maps with so many gimmicks.
yeah.
But,
There's. It's not. There's nothing special happening. It's a relatively straightforward map, and also the terrains are.
maybe do a little bit more with the blending between the ice and the snow, but it's also completely flat, the map, worth noting.
True.
But that's classic arena style, I guess.
The arena is flat. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a fight for the forest. Lots of raiding on the outside.
Yes. Yeah. You fight for the middle and feudal, and then you fight push the wood lines later.
Hmm. Can you terrain mask ice? Yeah, to some degree.
Yeah, I mean that's what's happening in the middle. Or
Oh yeah.
various forms of ice are being masked. You can also put snow on it to make it look like snowy ice. No, I think ice is fine.
Maybe if you use the ice, the beach ice, maybe there's some shenanigans, but normal ice and everything else should be. I do find it more tricky though to get ice is more tricky to make look nice.
It has some weird blending on a lot of terrains where it makes just a puddle shape.
Yeah,
Doesn't look
exactly.
so good. Also, this snow grass mixture is very reminiscent of Age of Conquerors.
I actually prefer it. You know how you can get these two kinds of snow blending? One looks a bit more realistic, maybe. The other one looks like this. And I actually prefer this,
This one.
depending on which side you blend it. I prefer this one for some reason. Maybe it's just because I've been used to it for many years. But it's true. It does remind me of the the good old days.
I will
Ice Shield Arena.
check the next one.
What is the name?
Next one is Basmo Fortress.
Basmo Fortress. Or just Basmo.
And it has named after Basmo Fortress in Norway. 2 walled bases.
They trapped the forest. They walled in the wood.
Ah. Huh. Huh. And the stone inside is even walled in too. Trapped by the woods.
Interesting.
And that's the only stone on the map, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, even the normal bases don't have anything, but you can easily get your own stone if you just break your own wall. But you always have to also chop through one line of forest before you can actually reach the stone. He made a little cube of snowy pine trees.
And no gates on the smaller bases.
Oh, interesting. There's difference. Yeah. I mean, you start with walls. They don't offer that much protection because you have to go out to take wood anyway. So that's a nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very
But
small walls.
you probably go. No, actually, that depends on what you want to do. You could go straight to that other base of yours to gather the wood to get access to your stone.
You might just do that anyway, so you have a secure wood line.
Yeah.
The
Is there
outside is
something?
like
What's something
Atacama.
under the trees? No, that's just a dead fish trap. Probably just a placeholder. Under some of the trees near the extra bases.
Um,
Actually, I don't see them on your end.
Could be a placeholder.
It's just a dead fish trap. It has to be.
Maybe you need to reload the scenario editor again.
It doesn't happen every time.
Okay.
It just occasionally. But other than that, it's a pretty nice, simple map.
Yeah.
Wish again, it sound like a broken record. Wish there was more blending on the grass.
Yes.
There are different types of. There's a lot of different. Like you can use the light snow blending, the normal snow blending, and the strong snow blending, and used together, you can really make cool effects. Especially in the middle with the different elevation, you can create some snowy mountaintops or hilltops.
And you have a lot of dirt terrains as well that you can blend
Yeah.
lightly into snow or grass.
Oh, is this welcome to Rapture 12321's
It is.
submission? I see. Blending strong snow is actually quite tricky, but blending light snow usually looks really well in my opinion.
Yeah, snowy maps are difficult to get right.
I agree.
They can be too cluttered on the eyes if there's lots of
Something
blending.
like that, like the middle, it goes straight from being completely dense in snow into where there's only grass in some areas, and that I think it needs some sort of blending, so that's the color is not that hard. But I do kind of really like this idea with the two bases, one just for wood. It reminds me of Stronghold for some reason, where you would go far away to get certain resources. If you've ever played that game.
I have not.
So I do like the concept of the map. It's an interesting take on the have to be walled. Actually, technically walled in the entire resource. It's fun.
That's a very
It's one of
open
my-
map, except for the walled
This is one
out.
of my favorites so far, the ones we've seen. Primarily, the primary thing I would work on is the aesthetics. So I do like that the stone is very limited. You have to really pay attention to how you use it. It did have some stronghold inspiration. Is that really so?
There you go.
Yeah, I think I've seen everything I need to see in this
All right.
one. Unless you have more.
No, I'd be willing to move on to the next one.
Basmo. I wonder what Basmo means. Is it a word you know that I don't?
A Basmo, it's probably a name, right? It's a
Maybe it's like a.
The next one is called Antarctic Rift.
Arctic Rift. Arctic Rift. Version 2 already. Interesting. Oh, yeah. That's the same guy as before for sure, because I see the rocks again with the cliffs.
So it's actually.
Again.
Yeah, go on.
No, again, it's just very thematically unique, as well as his other submissions. I presume it's the same guy.
It isn't actually. This is Wehucoddle.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Who also always
Actually,
goes very heavy on the eye
doesn't surprise
candy.
me either. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't surprise me either.
And he's done the cliff rocks on a couple of maps recently.
Okay, it's the first time I see it.
Wood piles or shipwrecks with 1,000 wood each.
So say that again.
The the shipwrecks with 1,000 wood.
Okay.
Huntable penguins.
So you have this cliff surrounding you that looks. It's so repetitive.
It's a little bit awkward for the appearance. So
Yeah.
I guess
All
there
the
aren't
mountains
enough
also
cliff
look very off.
rotations to do it properly. Or is there a wall hidden underneath it? Because it shows up on the mini map.
Maybe, or maybe he changed the look of a probably needs to open
Palisade
again.
wall?
I
Try
mean,
that
maybe, or
again.
maybe the fortified palisade walls. You can't make them yourself. I can tell you in a moment.
Also, the rift in the center. I recognize that from one of my old maps.
You don't have a wall when you get in the game.
Let's see.
The rift looks cool.
팀의
Shouldn't it be the other way around though? I'm okay. I'll be really nitpicky here. Shouldn't it be black in the middle and sort of dark blue on the outside to sort of create the sense of a deep hole?
Probably yes.
Oh, hey, Chancellor. Also, beautiful use of penguins. You can hunt them. Maybe you probably already mentioned that. I was maybe
Yes.
too busy looking around.
Yeah,
but,
they're deer that have been reskinned.
red deer. Right.
And I will save this as a VOD afterward. I'll save it as a highlight so it's available forever. I do that with all my Twitch streams.
I like how he used all the new assets as well, like all the new shipwrecks.
The ship ruins, yeah.
Yeah. But a bit too cluttered, in my opinion. Too many things happening. Too much eye candy. I think the mountains look very off. I also know for a fact that the bounding blocks of mountains are weird.
Yeah, they don't correspond to the object that well.
And why is there an outpost in my mill? Is that on purpose? Does that do something?
Where do you have an outpost on your mill?
My mill has an outpost inside it.
아무르민도
In the middle.
Oh, right. Gives line of sight?
I guess so.
Probably. Let's test this. Although...
It just looks off.
I assume it's there to give line of sight.
Wait, give me paint it over. I can try. Don't think you can. You can't even duck it.
No, the middle... Test walking over it carefully, though. Because the black terrain has an issue where it has...
Oh, so if you just take on the other side, it wants to walk around. But if you click like...
Yeah, the pathing, it
partially-
doesn't... Like, the pathing calculations across it are broken.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
So you don't want to have walkable black terrain on your map. But if you force your units to go across, they'll do it.
Yeah, it's obviously not very great.
Though it seems to be okay here.
And as much as I like these small cliff rocks, the fact that they're so repetitive, I wish they were used more sparingly. I think that goes for a lot of his maps. If you used, oh, what's this? If you use these objects more sparingly, I feel like they would look so much better.
Agreed.
A few shipwrecks here and there could look really cool. A few mountains here and there would look really cool. A few rocks formations here
I
and there
mean,
would
the
look really
shipwrecks, of course, are the replacement for wood lines on this map.
cool. That is true. But, I mean, they have 1,000 wood on them each. I guess you could maybe increase that and make fewer of them. But I'm just spitballing.
So these golden stone areas, I have some along the far side of the map. Okay. I'm gonna generate a few of these. You have a mule cart as well, seems.
Oh, you do?
And a lumber camp.
I'll actually use this every now and then, but it's actually very, very annoying because it acts like a vital villager. It's a trade card. The neutral resource bases can sometimes spawn a bit unfairly, it seems.
Yes. It's because they're based on terrains.
Yeah, in fact, they can be very unfair.
I have one where they're just squished against the edge here.
Yeah, I see that. And then the other side doesn't really have much. Oh, they do. But red is definitely closer.
Yeah. And it just depends on where the terrain
Same.
is, so
Yeah, it's always tough to rely on terrain generation for a fair distribution of resources.
yes.
I did do it in karsts as well, but there was so much of it. Then you have to go where it just generates so much of it that it evens out in the end. But there's skis in the berries. That's true. I just saw that now. What is it
Aha.
with people like putting things in the berries? This was not Danger Jug, was it? It was
No.
Yuji Koyero. Have you ever spoken to him? Like, I've never heard his voice before.
I have not.
Yeah. I wonder what he sounds like. He is also from Denmark, but I've never spoken to him. Okay. You want to move on?
I think, yeah, we can move on.
Unless there's more, by all means.
I still wonder why you see walls on the minimap around the whole base when it's actually a cliff.
Have you tried moving the cliffs?
There seem to be many cliffs, and then you move them.
Holy moly!
They're player-owned objects, though. It's
Oh, it's player cliffs. So it has to be a wall.
you
Or-
can't
No, it's probably
target
not a
them.
wall object.
It's some unselectable player object.
Yeah, but that you can easily do that with like I don't know, like a flag would be unselectable or
Ah.
it's not a flag because it's obviously you cannot walk through it. But I
Yeah,
can think of more things.
they're
There definitely are some.
There are
I just
some.
can't think of a single one right now.
Oh, the appearance changes when you drag them.
Yeah.
Oh,
slightly.
when they're adjacent or not adjacent.
It still doesn't look good even when if you generate the game in game.
They're too
It's still all the
repetitive.
same. Yeah.
Oh.
In my opinion, then it's not worth it. If it looks like this, then I would come up with another solution. But I like the idea.
Alright, I will check the next map. The next one is called Round Arena.
Okay, I want to take a guess at what it looks like. It's arena, but your walls are round.
A decent guess.
See if I'm right. Oh boy, that wasn't completely accurate.
I'll let you do the commenting here because alright, there's still penguins. Should probably
Oh yeah, I see penguins.
restart.
Oh, I see a gate in a round wall. That's already beautiful.
Yeah, so I had a setup for doing the gates in the past, but it then
Is this your map?
yeah. Then
Oh, it's your map.
it interfered when there were other lands in the way, so I had to be super hacky about it.
I was about to compliment it, but now it just sounds like I'm sucking up to you. First of all, the circular walls are obviously amazing. I like that how it looks, and I love that you introduced a gate on it, even if it's circular. Next thing that caught my eye, and it was purely aesthetically, but I love the way that it looks like the forest has been sort of already been chopped away, leaf stumps. This is the small details that I love to put in my own maps,
Yeah.
and how like the terrain there even blends out the underbrush terrain from that as well back to the TC. Looks really, really nice. It's the kind of stuff that I love to do on my maps as well. Other than that, I'm assuming it's pretty standard arena.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on everything. I mean, it looks nice. It's not too much else to say.
Like I was like Hank made like a random world map that was round, and then I decided to also mess around with this idea. Like last year, I had a plan to turn all the standard maps into round maps.
Ah,
I didn't.
That's a big task.
It was too big of a task. I got through like 20 or so.
Sometimes it surprises me that. Well, maybe I'm just not invited, but I feel like we have a pretty sizable map making community at this point. But we very rarely interact, like make any big joint project or anything. We should.
That's true. Yeah. There aren't many joint projects.
Everyone's kind of doing their own thing all the time, which is also fair. But...
Like people ask for help and do that, but there aren't many collaborative projects.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice map. I like it. I like this small details you added to it. Obviously, in terms of originality, it's arena with round walls.
And then the next one is Round Hideout.
Can I take a wild guess? Hey, I didn't say it out loud, but that's what I was thinking. You didn't do the same trick with the wood, but I can probably guess why. I can imagine that'd be a lot more tricky here, if not impossible. I see. No, actually, would that be impossible? You could probably still pull it off, technically.
It might work.
I see it. It's almost just tough to judge. I see a dead fish trap in the forest again. Am I going insane?
I think there is one for some reason. It's so this one I used the DE hideout. Well, the Arabia I think, or the arena I think I rewrote it from scratch. That's why I put in the fancy blending. Although I copied some of it over here too, so don't know.
I would like to see the. Well, I mean, it's an aesthetic thing. I can kind of see why you would also not do it. I just don't like the black terrain. It would be cool if it was sort of just filled with some aesthetics blockers so that it still looks like a real place. But I can also just see you're just trying to create a different map border.
Yeah, the problem is the fog doesn't render the same way.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's a bit.
Otherwise, it would look better.
Yeah, I think so. If the fog render's there, it would just look like a new border, and they would look perfectly fine.
I think there are other maps where making them round is actually more interesting than these two. Like something like
Yeah.
Arabia, you can't hide in the corners. Here, it's mostly a gimmick.
Is there anything else different on this map? It's just normal, right? It looks
It
dangerous.
is. Yeah, I had to
see.
redo the resources so they wouldn't avoid the lens, but in the
I
end,
still have penguins as
same.
deer. Is there 2 pairs of deer in the map inside? Or is that something else that I haven't
2 pairs of
it's
deer.
sheep. Is it sheep? Why am I yeah, like
Are they still penguins for you?
yeah, the still penguins are mine, but the starting sheep are still sheep, but the extra sheep are penguins, which I'm confused about.
Because the starting sheep I used are player sheep. And it's a
Oh yes,
the-
they only
and the-
converted to Gaia ones.
yeah.
Yes.
That's why.
Thank you. Okay.
I think we can move on.
Did you submit any original stuff?
This is original. No, I had one original
mean,
idea the
some
weekend
extent.
before the deadline, but then I had no
I'm
time
not.
to make
I
it.
wasn't trying to,
No,
to
no.
talk down anything.
Oh, I didn't have time, unfortunately. The next one is Swamp Fort.
Wompfort. I like that name as well.
Ah.
Oi. Okay.
I have seen this one played.
Played.
I think
Okay.
it was in Blue Carbon Cup. Let me check here what it says here. I thought a map that looked very much like this was in Blue Carbon Cup.
What's the long wall in the middle? It's that. I'm presuming you don't convert it. I presume.
It's a
can break
slowly
it?
rotting border wall.
Oh.
It can be destroyed.
You know, well, of course you do. Who created this one?
Uh,
I can't put a finger like it doesn't. Yeah, I would guess the same guy that made the other ones. So it's a bit of fancy, the Chinese person.
this is Death Counter made this one.
Oh, Death Counter. Guess I don't know his style very well yet. I really like the look of the swamp. I genuinely really like the aesthetic of the map. Let me open this one in the actual game because it's tough to. I don't know what resources are different.
Also, this thing with the
Depending on
crumbling
who
wall. The holes in it.
Swamp Fort. Okay, so the reeds are 75 wood, so it's not quite 100. It's not quite the standard 50. It's 75. I see a bear walking around. That's. I also see water buffaloes walking around. What is going on here? Oh, you can hunt the bear. Okay, I see. It looks cool. The bear is super quick.
Oh, the bear it's a boar, isn't it?
The bear is a boar, yes.
啲咩？
And the buffaloes are seemingly deer. And I believe the goose,
Захир
the
анчин
geese are just geese.
тийм үү болтой.
No shenanigans there.
Бэлэн байна.
I don't know. I'm old school where I try to not change things like this.
I do the same. It's probably just a preference. I like to, like if players see a boar or if they see a bear, players know how a bear acts, and I personally don't like changing it, especially in a tournament set where it's a bit different between each map. It's quite tricky.
Yeah.
But I don't inherently like it. It's fine.
Like, it makes sense that you
Second.
could eat the meat on bears, but
Yes.
just from the point of having
This is
players.
definitely a case that makes sense, in my opinion. It makes sense that the bear would chase you. I don't see the wall deteriorating at all. Does
It
have
starts with
in-
holes. Those aren't visible in the scenario editor, but they are visible in
But
game. I
only
think that's
in
what's
game.
meant by deteriorating.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't lose HP over time. I see.
That
And I guess
might not
also
actually be
randomly-
possible to have it
Also
without an
randomly
access
placed.
script.
That's interesting. I like that idea that you have different positions and where you can reach the enemy. The Buddha at the north seems a bit too square, for my opinion, too sharp edges. I think you should also put some blending in the actual forest terrains. They look a bit strange to me, but again, not really a big thing. It's just me. I love that you have fallen trees. It's something I've played with recently, and I think it looks amazing. It's a fun thing to do.
So you give them 0 HP, right? Is that the...
Exactly. Yeah, that's just it. If you want to be really clever, death counter. If you want to make sure that the fallen trees match the trees that they're near, you can even change the string. Because right now it says tree G. You can change the string so it still says tree rainforest, for example. I know it's going into really small details, but you could do that. Then it doesn't stand out at all. I'm just trying to see, can you build everywhere?
You dock anywhere. I think in Blue Carbon Cup you could, but here looks like you can't.
Yeah, I can't. Can you not duck anywhere? You can't actually duck.
I mean, the only water terrain on the minimap is in the
ute.
wood
I don't
lines.
think you can even duck that because there's no beaches, and I think you need the beach terrain to duck. So it's just a bunch of unbuildable terrain by the looks of it. No, you can build. Sorry, it's just Marco Polo issues, I guess. You can build just fine. So it's not particularly restricted. It's just a swamp, but you can build on it. There's some shore fish. It looks to be pretty fixed between the players. Maybe not, actually. Oh, maybe it is. No, not quite.
Oh, this time they're... Oh, okay, the water is produced with a terrain, with a terrain trick, or with a base foundation terrain. That's why there are no beaches.
Or you could use a no beach. Can you remove beaches, technically? Actually, can you?
No.
Oh, there's no beaches. There's no terrain. There's no water in the editor.
Yeah, that's why.
That trick has been so popular.
That being said,
Actually,
I've
it's quite
built a dock.
powerful. Oh, you did?
On a tiny puddle, but I don't think you can sail around, so probably
Yeah, but
doesn't
that's
matter.
because she disabled the fishing ships and fish traps. Personally, not a fan of that. I would rather just make sure you cannot do it. If you don't want people to fish, then don't make them duck. Because what I foresee here is someone making a duck, thinking they can fish, they get frustrated that they can't do it, and then it's just an unfun experience for them.
I like using the farm terrains. Like that's isn't done much on it. Looks pretty good here.
Yeah, I've also tried doing that a lot. It always feels very unique. I think maybe a bit more use of different front terrains could, but maybe you have done that. It's tricky to say. Through the water, maybe you have actually done that. Yeah, I think you might.
It takes a long time to generate. Comparatively.
Cool. I think aesthetically it's really nice.
Yeah.
This is also one of my favorites so far. Together with, I guess, what's it, Basmo? It's tough to see how it would play out. Resources seems reasonably fair. Maybe. Yeah, I like it. I will give it a good rating. What's the next map, sir?
Next up, we have a map called Trading Post.
When do we get fortified palisade walls? We have fortified palisade walls, we just don't have the gates, which I agree is unfortunate. Does make them kind of unusable. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. A trading post, okay.
I will check the description for important information.
Yes.
Players start with the market. We see that.
Yes, certainly.
2 trade cards. No gold to mine, but there are neutral markets in every corner.
Oh wow, no gold at all.
And there are yurts, like houses, that can be captured and recaptured.
Like you would gain and lose pub
Up
space.
space, I guess?
That's super annoying.
I haven't seen that idea.
That's funny. No gold at all, I think is. Oh, ooh.
Well, you start with 2 trade cards and a market, though.
Yeah, but if you lose trade, you're done. There's nothing you can do to
You
get
also have
back.
2
And
relics in your base.
I also don't like the fact that because certain civs I like to have at least a little bit of every resource so that all bonuses can be utilized. Like Turk gold bonus cannot be utilized. Other bonuses with gold also don't matter. And I think I think it's dangerous.
It might be too.
Any
Yeah,
gold.
you could get fully locked out of gold.
There's also, like, look at the map. There's nothing stopping you from just walling in the markets. There's a lot of ways I can see people exploiting this. You would definitely just go out almost immediately to wall in the market so your ally, your enemy can't get any
Also, the
gold.
markets can be sort of hidden in woodlines or difficult to
One of
get
you can
to
be
path to.
completely covered even.
Mm.
Sometimes it's quite close.
If you had an unbuildable road from each market to the center of the map, say, or something like that.
Yeah, or at least a sizable terrain area around it.
Yeah.
So at least you would have to make a sizable wall.
But it is a different. There's a special land in each corner. You could just have that be an unwallable terrain. I'm gonna check if these animals are huntable.
I would assume it's definitely it's a lot of hunting this map. It's a bit unfair. Sometimes some player gets a really safe hunt. Sometimes player does. There's a flag on each hunting. I wonder if it's like
Okay, they are deer. I just hadn't reloaded the scenario. Because I was still seeing water buffalo. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I see. I did see them as deer.
You're right though about the one player can be much closer than the other
Yeah,
to
in
the
this
deer.
case, red is completely screwed.
Yeah.
Again, I guess they rely on terrain. In this case, this might be one of those cases where you want to use the fake player lens to make sure it's right in between the
Yeah,
players.
put one on each side or two.
Yeah, something like that. I think that would be a good case for it. I think adding a little bit of gold to the players would be really good, and I think balancing the deer patches using fake player lands could be an option as well. I think the no gold is too risky.
You could just have like two times two tiles or something small.
It's similar to Gold Rush, right? Even though it's so much gold in the middle, people still need something to fall back to or get up started with.
Yeah, you know, gold. It needs to be important to reach the neutral markets, but you need enough that you can get to Castle Age and that you can defend yourself a bit. Give up map control for a little bit.
I would also maybe add a few small gold piles around the map far from the player, so there is some alternative way to get it. Should you lose trade or something, then there are some options, but not something that's sustainable. Just a thought from my experience with these kinds of maps.
So all the stone is with the players as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Wanted to test the getting pop space from the huts, but it turns out, of course, that I have Huns and don't need the pop space from the huts.
I mean, I would assume so. Your opponent is not hunched. You can press Control Shift F1.
True. You know what? I'll do that so that I have done it once. Shift F1. Control Shift F1. No.
I think this map has potential, but right now it's a little bit unbalanced, unfortunately.
It's Control Shift F1. Yeah.
I think. Well, Control Shift F2.
F2. Ah, yeah, of course. Makes sense. Yeah. Let's get myself some pop space.
That's what Death Counter said.
Yeah, the F key is then the player you want to take control of. You can do Gaia with that, I think.
Right, yeah. Control the birds and everything.
So it does, they do get pop space, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Interesting. They have that's a lot of HP. Don't know why they would make them indestructible. There's just a little yet.
So that you can trade them back and forth?
Yeah, I guess so. But then you could also just like, yeah, I don't want to. I just want to destroy it to stop the enemy from. It's minor thing. It doesn't matter. A little bit more blending between the deer patches and the outside, I would say. Otherwise, it looks fine, and also on the inside of the player bases. Actually, also on the grass. A little more blending overall, but I like the concept. It's simple. It's not trying to go crazy. It's a simple concept, and I think it does it pretty well. Once
you add a bit of gold.
The things are addressed, yeah. I think I just like the fact that it's not trying to do 5 things at once.
Have there been maps that have been very successful with the neutral market idea?
I don't think so, unfortunately.
Like you've tried it. I've tried this. I've tried neutral docks, and
there's marketplace in the game as well. It doesn't. No.
I guess it's just too expensive to get trade set up early.
Maybe we just haven't found the right recipe for it yet. So I definitely think there's a way to make it. People also just not used to it.
No.
It worked in Michi, yeah. Because I mean, it is. I think it's just a late game thing. There's also neutral markets in every Age of Empires 4 map, and well, almost every Age of Empires 4 map, and you don't really see it used early. So I think it's just a late game thing.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Okay, trading post. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'd be willing to move on to the next
Okay.
map, which is called the Promised Land.
Isn't there
With the
Promised Land? Okay. Interesting. First, right off the bat, again, very imbalanced with the generation. This is the first thing I see, unfortunately.
very flat and empty.
One person has way closer access to the deer in the middle. Yeah, very flat. Ah. You start with horse, normal sheep, normal berries, reasonable amount of gold, not too much. So it's like, but then no deer, and all the deer is in the middle. Oh, trading cards cost less gold than they previously had.
Trading card on the. I didn't.
So, but yeah, again, I mean, I don't like that too much. Even we have to change the values of units to make it work. I mean, it's fine. But... Oh, this one is rough. This Promised Land. The deer is super imbalanced in most of the generations. Heavily favoring one person.
Yeah, this land needs to be in the center, and then it needs to be centered around the center and not bulging off
Deer
to
have
one
to
side.
spawn evenly across that as well. Right now, even if it's like centered, sometimes the deer spawn in one side.
Yeah.
I
I
have
think.
one where the deer are basically touching the one.
Oh, so
player
I have.
here.
Okay, there's some deer inside a player's base.
Yeah, I was
That's
I had one very close. That's
right
honestly
outside the
very
gate.
bad.
Well, that's something
It's
that, of
not
course,
good.
can be fixed.
It's a very easy fix. Other than, if we were to imagine it, I guess, just being centered, it's a very simple map. Sort of reminds me. It's maybe a bit of Prairie and Atacama, in a sense.
There
Obviously, it's not
is
woodland.
nothing in the rest of the map, though. Woodlines, I guess, but
Yeah, that does make it a bit boring.
it's a deer gold stone rush, berry rush, relic
Very
rush.
rich. We haven't seen that. Oh, I guess Kawasan.
It could be super unbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's a fine concept. I do kind of like these sort of middle resource maps. It doesn't really stand out because the outside is so boring and there's a lack of
I think
blending.
you have to have some resources on the outside, and you can have other resources only in the center. You don't want
I
all the
think so as
resources
well.
only in the center.
Yeah, I do agree. Otherwise, it's just the person who gets the castle up in
Yeah.
the middle.
You get a castle, bit of army.
That's the one they get.
That's it.
I don't know how much more I can say to that map.
With
More blending, man.
more
So
blending.
much more blending potential.
Yes.
So much more cool stuff on the outside.
Terrain blending. You can also just add some eye candy decoration on the outside.
Yes, create some history, some story to the map. I like that a lot. Master of Marketplace? Yes, please. I really want to create a map making contest again with different challenges, but I haven't quite figured out what I want to do yet. Not just create a cool map, but I have like multiple different fun challenges that people could overcome.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Come up with interesting themes, interesting challenges
Mm-hmm.
the map needs to
Or
fulfill.
like give everyone like a piece of code and say you have to incorporate this code, or give them like a skeleton of map and then
Yeah.
improve this map, make it like finish it, or and see which approach people take. I don't know. There's so many cool ways you can do it.
You could actually do that if someone had, a basic map and not the skills to turn it into a great map, just have a contest Here's my map. See what you could do with it.
Yeah. And then, like, so you can't deviate too much from the original design, or can't remove any of the code. You have to work around it, or I don't know. So otherwise, you can't just delete everything and make a new map and say.
All the original code is in a comment right there.
Yes, it's still there.
Alright, so the next one is called Kubu. Ku.
That's some really interesting names. You can only use 300 lines. So tech chariot is out then. I used to be the one with the long scripts, but he definitely surpassed me long ago.
Yeah, I mean he's essentially he's bumping up against the limit of
Yeah, he's
the
even
map
changing some like he's using weird things that has the same ID and stuff like that.
to try
like,
and reduce
yeah,
the
it's
file
crazy.
size enough. Well, that's just that's a fundamentally different way of map scripting where you can come up with the
Yeah.
possible generations outside of the game and then hard code them
Mm-hmm.
with lands, but you just need more file size than AOE2 is able to
You're
generate.
basically storing every single generation.
Yeah.
In the text file. It's definitely unique. Okay. Kubu. Generation, the orientation is always the same. Players always the same position. Resources do rotate around the players, but all the resources everywhere else on the map is static. There's gold on the sides, stone in the middle, two pieces of, well, two lines of wood you have to chop through. Reminds me of a different map I think we've seen in tournaments. Forgot the name. Doesn't look like it has any crazy gimmicks, other than of course resources are trapped in the middle. But there's nothing you can capture. No.
I was just checking the description, but there isn't anything unusual.
Well, I guess I wish that was
There are a
more
few
land
tiles of
resource.
unbuildable terrain outside the walls.
Where?
Outside, like towards the center.
Oh, I see. There's like a square of it.
That's hard to see.
Very hard. You can
Yeah.
see it on the minimap.
Yes.
Which also highlights the fact that, which really annoys me now, that the bases are not centered. It's probably on purpose. The two bases are slightly east, and it's super annoying now.
They're not centered.
It doesn't really hurt. It's just it might be a choice that you're slightly towards one side, but oh my god, I cannot see it. It also bothers me that the ring of wood around the stone is oak trees in the savannah.
True, and the outside ones have savanna of dragon trees as well.
Everything is savannah except for that. A few vases, however you say it, scattered on the map. Yeah, the terrain could be a bit more interesting. It's completely flat. There's not much happening. I would definitely have added maybe some wildlife, a few deer. It's always interesting. If you can't think of anything, just add a few deer. It rarely ever hurts the map to have something to.
It's far enough away then.
Yeah, like it doesn't really impact gameplay, and even someone does venture all the way out there, they're usually deserving of a few deer if they really
There
want
are a
it.
few things, but it is just very empty everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's just lack of elevation, which might be a choice because it's sort of arena doesn't have any elevation. So if it's based on that, but it does make it look very bit empty.
Also, it might. I don't know if this applied to some of the other ones, we just didn't mention it, but on this one specifically, it's a bit too static to the point where you figure
It's
out the meta
basically a
if there is
scenario.
one, and yeah.
I also think it's maybe my bet too snowbally this map. I can definitely see someone failing to get into the middle or any of the sides, and then it's just GG.
Yep.
Like if let's say both players are trying to chop through to the goal at the top because that's slightly closer, and then one person makes it in faster, somehow manages to wall off and make a tower. Suddenly you're all the way back to having nothing. And you have to go all the way to the other side. You do have a sizable goal inside your base, to be fair.
But
It's bigger than I thought.
that one should probably be split up into two, because if it's forward
Which it is, and yeah.
or back,
Yeah, I think
that
so.
can make a huge difference.
And I also don't like that it's so square, all these places. It looks very artificial. But that's again not a huge thing.
It's hard to make the trapped resources in a round area typically,
Mm-hmm.
or harder at least.
I assume it's made with lands, right?
Yes, looks like it.
Kubu. But at least it's fair.
This is true.
I wonder what's the reason for this unbuildable terrain.
So you can't
It's not
castle
close.
drop the main gate.
But you can just castle it right next to it.
True.
This, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably if it's there, it should be more visible. But it also doesn't
Yeah.
really change the gameplay that much.
No, I don't think so. Okay, wanna move on?
Yeah. Next up is a map called Venus Eye Trap.
Venus Eye Trap, not Fly Trap.
Eye Trap.
Okay.
This one, I think I looked at. It was submitted to another contest
Whoa.
as well.
Another one where the players are both walled in. I like it. Oh wait, there's two TCs.
Yeah, I don't remember all the comments I said last time, but yeah, you have an inner base and an outer base.
Yeah. Relics in the berry bushes. Okay. That's the only case of something being inside now, so it's not Danger Jock that made this. It can't be.
It is not.
Yeah, because there's no fish in the ground.
Chrazini.
There's a lot of buckland on the outside, but it doesn't look like it's actual terrain. It looks like it's just blended. So you can still
It's
build.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't show up on the minimap.
Yeah, exactly. Does the walls behave unexpectedly, or is it just like a Gaia wall, like so wall or whatever?
If I remember
yeah.
correctly, we can test, but yeah, if I remember correctly, they are Gaia walls that you have to destroy.
Yeah, but then you also, in some cases, might have to chop through the forest, but it is not entirely dense, I guess.
Gold on the mangroves only have 450 gold. Well, the inside has,
okay.
or the outside gold, I guess, has 800. And okay, there are also two themes where you can have
Oh, that's a
crack terrain in the
plus.
middle.
Oh, wait,
instead
one
of-
of them is mangrove in the middle.
Oh, you started with crack terrain.
Yeah, I saw the one you're looking at now.
I started with mangrove.
That changes the map entirely.
It does, yeah.
Holy moly, this is a different map now.
Okay. The mangrove and the crack terrain switch positions. So the other terrain is now in the
Oh, I
gap
see.
between the walls.
I wonder if is that on purpose or is it somehow an accident?
No, it's on purpose. It's mentioned in the description that there are two themes.
Ah, okay, understood. Uh, I wouldn't even call it themes because when things change this drastically, it's not a theme. It's two different variations. Like when the gameplay changes, I think it goes beyond a theme. Personally,
Does the gameplay change?
well, one of them has a lot of forest in the middle. One of them
True.
has no forest in the middle,
True,
basically, and there's almost no food. The other one has deep fish you can gather with villagers. There's huge forest. I think there's also there's also way more gold.
Ah, okay, and the relic bushes are still there.
So there's way more to do when you have the mangrove. I don't think you can duck it still. You can probably duck it once you've broken the wall.
If you break two spaces or a space to
Or
create a beach.
I guess 3. Oh, like no, I guess on an itch you can maybe just do 1 or 2.
So I think my thought when looking at this map the first time, I think it didn't have the second theme at the time. That's not generating the second theme for me. Okay.
Yeah, you can duck it.
I was sort of worried that whoever wins the middle just wins. You have a back base, but
I don't think I mind that so much. That's just like any other game. Whoever wins that area will win a game, and then I think, and then I would just see the back as
it's just an economy booster.
Extra, yeah, an economy booster basically, and then the actual game takes place in the middle. But yeah, I do think if you lose the middle, it's tough to come back unless it's some sort of all in and the back person has been booming.
If you have the dry middle, cracked terrain, you can't wall. That's super open. That could just be a very short game then. You have enough resources on the outside. I think the middle just has to win.
No. Maybe. Some trapped deer. No, some trapped herdable in between the walls sometimes.
Yes.
I guess it's not a big deal. It doesn't look very nice. It feels a bit bugged. I also don't really like the cracked terrain blending, but I guess it's just there for the functionality. It looks weird to me that it's cracked terrain with water because those two things don't mix. And what does what does the name mean? Venus eye. Is it supposed to look like an eye?
Does a Venus flytrap look like this? It has liquid in the middle, leaves on the outside. But that's actually not what a Venus flytrap. A Venus flytrap has jaws.
I think it also doesn't have liquid. It just sort of
that's a pitcher plant.
It just excretes some sort of.
Or because it looks like the Venus, the planet, but not really.
It kind of looks like an eye, maybe.
Eye? No.
It is called eye trap, not fly trap. So. Okay, what would I rate this? I would rate it. I've been keeping ratings of all the maps so far. I'm not sure if I should share it. Who made this, by the way?
Jasuni.
Just Huni?
Jasuni.
Ah. I'll give this.
Well, neither of us are official judges for this event.
No, we're not judges. I'm just giving them ratings for fun. I think they might already be influenced by our talk. I can wait with sharing it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if you've written up extra Like ratings
I
or
should
comments?
just give them all like a rating between like 1 out of 10, 1 to 10, just for fun. But it's also just very, very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Some maps I've spent more time on, some maps I've tested more. Because I'm not a judge, I felt like I could get away with
Also,
doing
yeah,
it
like,
for fun.
we're not organizing this tournament, so we don't need to pick maps that complement the rest of the maps or maps that will necessarily do well in these settings. Sort of looking at what looks good.
No. Yeah, Death Counter, your map is the one so far highest rated together with another one. Yeah, it has gotten it's gotten 8 out of 10. Okay, you want to move on?
So next up is Castra. Let's see.
C. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love how the middle looks just right off the bat. It looks nice. Beautiful blending, in my opinion.
Ah, that's good use of crack terrain.
And also, what catch my eye, I don't like that the desert palms have been used here. The desert stands out a lot in that upper terrain.
So there are grassy palms in the game that can be
Yeah,
used now.
they've been added, so
Yeah.
I think that would be a good use case here.
I like
The
this.
second one was Basmo. Sorry.
For the
Yeah.
ones that you
Okay, so let's see what the actual map is about. Small walls, standard-ish resources. No deer? No deer. No deer outside either. Have to go to. Does it mention any gimmicks in the?
Nope. Nothing that you can't see by looking at it.
This one is. I really like this map, honestly.
Yeah, the two. You have the two fake player lands with the like semi-dense forest, so that you don't have to chop through to get to the gold, but you can sort of wall it off once you get there.
Oh wait, there are deer. Sorry, I'm blind. Yeah,
Where?
they're just.
Oh,
They're
inside.
just inside the walls. I somehow I'm just missed them. On both sides.
3 deer.
Yeah, so it's pretty standard resources. The gold is slightly smaller than 7, but and 2 sides with there's also pretty standard resources in terms of extra. Well, not standard size, but like you have a secondary
Standard amount.
tertiary gold. Then there's these 2 patches of gold on the outside. They're not overdoing it. I enjoy that. It looks really nice inside this forest. The forest looks really cool, except for the pond, like the desert. Remember, guys, you can also use terrain blending on forests. Really, really useful. It does. You don't have to do it only on terrain. You can also blend forest terrains. You can do some really cool stuff with that. This would be a good case for that. There's a few ruins every now and then.
Yeah. Also some new ruins. I saw them earlier. Corner wall. I don't have one now.
What terrain would I use for grassy pond? A grassy pond. This is swamp terrain?
You could, yeah. There's a swampy shallow you can use.
Sometimes it's very dark though. You can also just try and do shallows and maybe make some grass on top. Sometimes if you do it right, it can look good, but sometimes it looks very off though.
I think. Okay, so I guess the question was actually about the palm trees.
Oh,
So what you can do there is you could blend grass with the palm forest terrain, but also there is a second palm terrain at the probably the one with like 112 or something, like the most recent terrain that's been added. And that one doesn't have desert underneath, it just has grass.
Yeah, and then in this case, I would probably blend in some underbrush or some leaves into that terrain as well, so
Yeah.
that would mix with the surrounding in this case, because that looks a lot more leafy underbrushy. And then I would also make some transitional blending. I mean, we're going into details now between the desert and the grassy areas. Yeah, then I think this map would look really, really good. It already looks really nice.
Maybe with the stone, also check to make sure it's fair.
So far, I've had fair stone generations, but maybe I've just been very, very lucky.
I've had a couple where I feel like they're leaning towards one player. Maybe I was just unlucky. These are better.
My question is, the ponds in the middle, would you ever really go for them? It's one deep fish and two short fish. I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah. Do you dock one deep fish? Probably not.
I mean, I'm not a pro player.
You wouldn't dock it if it's forward.
It's very exposed. Archers could be able to kill them pretty easily if you don't.
I mean, even if you don't go for it, it still looks nice in the center.
It looks beautiful. It kind of reminds me of what I said with the map that has like upon the middle unused Acropolis. If you want to make people duck it, I would potentially add one more fish, maybe two, or maybe combine them. But I kind of do like the fact that it's two small ones.
Pro
I think this
players,
map is really.
they dock. They do really like docking if there's
But this is very exposed.
true.
You could duck, and the enemy just puts a tower there. Okay, maybe. I mean, I'm not a pro player. My elo is like 1800.
That's still
I
like
would not duck it.
top. Still pretty good elo.
It's one of the best ones, I think.
Oh, you have small trees again, right?
Yes.
The palm trees, of course, look worse there. I also think this one it's not doing anything crazy, but it's one of
I think
the
it's
better
just
ones.
doing, yeah. I think you fix the terrain blending and maybe potentially the pawns. I'm not entirely sure. And it would be a really good map. It already is. They even dug Arabia, but do they do that in serious games? I've never seen them do it in a serious game, but maybe I've missed it. I've definitely seen like the Viber like duck pawns on Arabia for content for YouTube, but I've never seen them doing it in a tournament. And I guess I'm kind of seeing them from a tournament perspective.
This brings us nicely to our next map, which is called Fish Arena.
Okay. Oh, well, that's basically Fish Arena. Yeah, I don't know what I expected. This is arena with a little pond.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. How did they make the pond so consistently spawn?
Now that's
In
the
the
big
base.
question: how you make sure that the pond is in the right place.
Well, I mean, obviously it varies a bit, but it's always never in the front. So, well, I guess it just spawns on the player terrain. And the player terrain is not in the middle, it's always pushed away. But it will still spawn in the front sometimes then.
Not though; it's not spawning in the front.
No, how does it do that?
It has to stay a certain distance away from players. Or it's a connection, but it's not a connection.
Interesting. And also the elephant in the room, there's oysters. There's
Yeah.
oysters, right?
Yeah.
I have a villager spawning inside a tree. I wonder if that can get out of the tree. Can you gather oysters with normal fishing ships?
Only if antiquity mode is enabled in the lobby.
So this is essentially useless if it's not on.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you can gather with villagers, no matter what.
If that's the case, it's unfair because in one generation, one player can actually reach them from the shore like a shorefish. They
Okay.
can get out. Okay, they can get. Okay. Is this Young Pandas map?
This is, yes.
Okay. One player here can reach the oysters as if they were shorefish. The other side, it's in the center. So
Yeah, that's.
I don't know how big of an impact it would give. It's not a huge advantage, honestly. It's very limited extra gold you can get from it. But if you can't really use the oysters, I would just remove them personally. But I can't speak of it much because I haven't really used it. Sheep can spawn outside for one player. Well, probably for both players, but I see them out for one player.
Or partially in and out. I also have a buggy one where only one cow spawned.
I would also love to see some distance, some forest distance to the on the gold, especially in the middle. A lot of the gold that I have in the middle are spawning right up against the edge of the map, make it very difficult to gather. I don't know if it's intentional. Could be. If it's intentional, then fair.
Or they're just being pushed away from other objects.
Young Panda, how did you do the pond in the back? Spill the secret. Also, I guess this night will just start. It's it's been very inconsistent with all the maps, but I guess they will just adjust it accordingly.
Yeah, they can do that. This is the one with the flags.
I can't remember.
Ready.
Yay.
He doesn't want to tell us.
Ah,
The forest blending is interesting. Lots of different types of trees. Palm, jungle, acacia, and baobab.
well,
I don't know if all of them should go together, but
rainforest maybe. Oh, probably jungle. There's a tiny bit of like mud terrain in the center always. No, it's scattered. That's not it.
yeah, some mud blending. Other than that, I mean, at the end of the day, it's arena with a pond.
Yeah. Yeah, and the pond
I feel
works
like the resources
well.
spawn slightly further away from the player, which means that sometimes like the barriers are basically touching the walls. In one of my cases here, could make tower rushes quite powerful, and then another one could have them very far away in the back. Could see that being a slight concern. Fish arena.
It's also the new sheep, or I don't know, the new deer type, right? The mouflon is here.
Oh yes. Always nice to see new animals. Good Warfare is trying to get relics spawn affiliate. Yeah, I mean we spoke about that earlier. It's an impossible task. Unless you basically fix them to the players.
Ah,
Okay, what's the next map?
so the next map is also our final map, and that is Ukumba, UK.
UK. Question 1. Uh-huh. I see. Oh, I thought it was going to be a lot more dynamic than it really is. It's always the same. I don't like that, but let's see before I judge it too harshly. So are there any notes to this? Because I see a bunch of holes with huts
Yes,
and,
yes,
and
let me
wolves.
read.
I have a feeling they do something.
Players have to duke it out to control 6 neutral trade workshops turned into granaries, which give resources. And they give wood, food, and gold, and they give more resources per age.
I wonder if they give each, like, do they all give all resources, or do they, because there's 3 on each side, so do they all give their
I think so.
resources independently? Let me test that one.
But it's interesting that they give that they're giving more resources per age.
Yeah,
that's a
that's
way
quite
to
nice.
keep them from being too strong in Dark Age.
Exactly.
And you
Seen
can't
that
wall
too
them
often.
in. It's
The
good.
wolf seems standard from what I remember by the stats. You start with double berries, but no deer. This time I think I'm right.
Hunting for deer. There are deer outside.
Yeah, I meant like inside.
Inside? But no. Okay, the deer are outside. Might just be scattered.
Okay, so I just converted a granary. It's very small income. It's basically I gain 1 resource. No, wait, no, it's very fast. What?
It should be 6
Oh
per
no,
minute.
sorry. No, okay, it's very slow. It's just my villagers gathering. Sorry, I'm stupid.
Yeah, 6 per
Yeah,
minute.
it's
one. That's less than
one
a villager
every
working.
it's one of each resource every 10 seconds.
So if you control 3 of them, that's the equivalent to having a villager on each resource. In Dark Age.
I like that it's slow.
Yeah. So in Imperial Age, it's 4 times that.
I almost wish there was deer in this. I feel like this map would be the perfect case to have deer, because people wouldn't push them, because you have to go out and convert things.
Too busy contesting the granaries.
So and then it would be a choice. Okay, do I push deer, or do I convert the things?
I mean, if they weren't there, people would push the deer that are outside, probably.
Yeah, probably. There's so many birds, but maybe I'm just in an unlucky space. They could use a lot more blending with the rock terrain to make it a smooth transition down to those holes. In my honest opinion.
Did you test in game? Are they explored at the start or no?
No.
And you know exactly where they are because it's completely static.
Yeah. I feel like you could make.
You could make
You
them
could use
fake player
fake player lands,
Yeah.
and you could get a dynamic map. I mean, it would still be very fixed by the nature of it, but it would at least rotate and make it appear more random. So I don't see why they didn't do that. Who created this last one here?
This was, I think, also just Sunni. Let me check. No, Young Panda.
I see. Well, in that case, we can ask him. That's why static. Okay. I mean, we have only checked him for 1v1, so I guess sometimes if we scale him up, we might see why certain things are done the way they are. But I think this is a good take on. It obviously reminds me of that Aftermath map I once made. But this might be done better with more modest resource generation, which I think favors the map.
I like the resource generation being low
Yes,
in Dark
absolutely.
Age.
It also doesn't give you any stone, which is good because that can be very powerful. Can you have different? You probably can. Can you have different generation and
You
like
would
faster gold generation, slower food generation?
that you can do. It is different too. The
Oh,
wood and
it's hard
food are
to
the
spot.
same, and gold is lower.
Okay, okay,
I know this because it's in the description.
gotcha.
Um,
One as well. Ukumba. I wonder what that is, where it is. Just out of curiosity, let me Google it.
sounds like it's in Africa.
What does Ukumba mean in Zulu? It means digging. Okay. Ukumba means digging.
So these are 3 mines on each side that are being dug for resources.
Potentially. Despite our aftermath, yeah, that makes sense. But I think it makes sense to have multiple of them with lower resource generation than fewer of them with lots of resource generation. Because it's just a lot less snowballing. You need much more map control. This is nice. Okay, giving them all a rating. Do we have a favorite map of all these? Are you still with me?
What was the question?
Do we have a favorite map of all of these?
Of all the ones we've just been through.
Yes, I know it's a tough question. Or anyone to stand out to you, that being.
So if I just
You cannot pick your own.
yes, that round arena, that was a no.
To be fair, I really like that one. But
Oh, I liked Castra, which we looked at somewhat recently. The ponds in the
yes,
middle, woodlands.
that
Yeah.
actually ended up being my highest rated one. 9 out of 10.
Then there were a couple that looked visually nice. There were a couple that were visually too cluttered, and there were a couple that didn't have enough terrain mixing for my taste.
Forgot what Basmo looks like, but I rated it highly. Let me look at it again. Oh yeah, it's the one with the trapped wood. Something about it just I like.
You just like the idea.
I think so. Like it's gimmicky without being silly or stupid. It just
I also think the very first map that we looked at,
Bastion.
although it might not get picked just because the players aren't really walled in themselves, but
Right, that is actually you're right. That is. I almost forgotten about it. That's very cool as well. It's very original, and the roads, like the middle, just looked really cool with the roads and stuff. It looked like a proper little city, almost.
which map had the craziest gimmick that you thought was?
Oh, there was just some with so many. I mean, it's just Danger Duck. It doesn't matter which one you pick. uh, he had a few of them.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I really love his creativity. He just puts too many gimmicks in one map. I really think some of them could be really cool if he was more selective and try put more emphasis on one of those gimmicks on one map at a time. Um, yeah, Matt Keller is just a really amazing scripter, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's true. He's been around for so long as well. But so have you, Sadness. You've been
True. Yeah. I haven't made as many maps as you, Matt Catter, but
I
also,
remember when I got started on HD edition, I was going through the workshop and like using your maps as inspiration and sort of help.
yeah, it's easiest to use an existing map at least initially and
Yeah, exactly.
play around with it.
Naming maps is harder than making them. That's what I said earlier. I absolutely agree. It is so tricky. I've every now and then I stumble upon like a really good name and I just write it down. I have a list of potential names somewhere. It's usually just like weather phenomenons or areas like I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of the geographical features that you might use
Yeah,
have been
exactly.
taken, so you have to
But then
look for
sometimes there's
unique
like a really
ones.
obscure synonym for that same
Yeah.
thing that's used very rarely. You can.
Or you just name it after a location that looks somewhat like your
I
map.
try to avoid that when I can. Sometimes it's unavoidable, and sometimes I do it as well. I don't know why. I think it just also limits the theme.
It does, yeah.
You can only use one theme if it's well. I mean, you say that you have Arabia with grass, Arabia with. Doesn't really make
It
sense.
shouldn't be called Arabia these days. It should be
Yeah.
land map or something.
Just well, generic land map.
That's what it is. Like
Exactly.
plains or something.
Honestly, that would be a better name. It will never change now, but that's absolutely a better name. What time is it? 22:15. That's still time for me to cook. I'm starving.
Same. I will make something to eat as soon as we finish here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
spent
Well,
2,
I don't
3,
think there's any more maps to go over.
4 hours.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun that this worked too. The cooperative stream.
Yeah. I'm gonna be quite curious. I'm gonna save my ratings. I'm not gonna post them, but I'm quite curious to see if they're gonna be anywhere similar to what the other judges are gonna do. What were the judges again? Can you just remind
I
me?
will check
Quickly?
rules and settings.
I would check, but my
Judges.
Discord is so
John
annoying.
Slow, Ornlu, Orintho, Bazzy Drown, and King Boo.
Okay. I know most of them, but not all.
And they have to
Actually, I do know most. I do know all of them. Sorry.
figure out their top 10 maps. And then their top map gets 10 points, second one gets 9 points, and so on. And then they just add everything up. They take the 2 with the highest score. But their prizes for the top 6 maps.
I wonder if they're gonna share their comments or findings or things. Probably not, but it'd be interesting to see their thought
Like
process.
it's useful for map makers to see the comments because then you can improve your map
Mm-hmm.
or think about things to do differently or adjust. But it's risky to do that as a judge because it invites criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Easier to avoid drama if you just post the final result.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the John Slow tournament, right? So, if he prefers certain maps, then I guess that's fair. I mean, if anyone's watching this, you can always just ask for more feedback, and I'm sure we'd be happy to give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has not been particularly in depth. Just sort of looking at it, see how it looks like, how initial reactions. So I don't know if how much people can take away from this stream, but hope it's been a little bit insightful.
Yeah, and you can always contact either of us for additional comments.
Are you guys familiar with the Rage Forest map? Is it theoretically possible to script the wolves only to spawn in the play areas and not in the passages connecting them? This should be very possible.
That should be very possible.
That should be very easy, in fact.
Just say, okay, each player gets 10 wolves close to
That's
their
a lot of
base.
wolves. You
Okay.
mad?
I'm 2 wolves.
Every time we have a map scripting contest. There's more. Actually, I guess for me, the reason I haven't done it in the past is because it's a bit. Oh, I'm always afraid that that there's gonna be like if we promise to use all like one submission, I'm always afraid that none of the submissions might fit the tournament, and we're obliged to use. We have to use one of them, and then it might not fit the event.
I mean, you can always just offer prize money and then say we'll take as many or
Yeah,
as few as.
I should probably just do that.
Am I going to have a general discussion after the maps are reviewed?
What does that mean?
I guess looking at the final map pack of, or I don't know, my thoughts on what was chosen. I think that's not really necessary. I think looking at this here was the more interesting thing. If you want
Q&A.
another stream, I could host a Q&A.
I mean, remember, we're not associated with the event at all. I mean, at least I'm not.
Yeah, it's the same. If you go back and see what I said on, or what we said on your map, Viper Cream, you can send any questions if there was something specific that we mentioned. Did we have questions? Oh, I have to go check which map this was. Scroll, 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 scroll. I don't think we had any big questions of the people who why design decisions were what they were.
No. Here is only to strive again. Don't know if it's gonna get revived. It would be nice. I miss that place.
I mean, at this point, right? You wouldn't organize a tournament there anymore. You would announce it only.
Yeah, I mean, I think Discord kind of killed the
Yeah.
AoE zone. It's just people just have their own communities, and but it was nice to have like a joint one for everyone.
Yeah. There are theoretically some discords that are supposed to be like a tournament discord, but those are not used.
Wait, there was I just logged on to it. There was a community award. I didn't vote for anything.
On Reddit, I think there was.
No, on an AoE zone.
I saw a post about it on Reddit.
Oh, okay. It's a map script of the year, guys. Could be the winner of this event. Well, I guess that would be the map script of 2025. by Paradox. Probably the same event, just shared in 2 different places.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, from my side, I'm going to officially announce Master of Hyper Random 2 like tomorrow, probably, or the day after.
You can announce Masters of Hyper Random.
Yeah. That will only be a smaller event.
You technically just announced it now.
I did, but I also sort of announced already that I would announce it. So
That's a classic Age of Empires.
the
thing.
announcement to the announcement.
So that's a good. You're on track so far.
Well, that's how you build interest.
How's the event?
Just 1v1 on hyper random civ.
Yeah, a full hyper random
Yeah.
map or any other? Okay.
We have to fully decide on the format, but I think that's what we did last time, and might as well do it again.
How many hours do you think you've spent on hyper random?
It's unlike other maps where you make them and it takes 10 hours or 30 hours or however many.
This one, you presume you've gone back to this one and like
This is
adjusted, fixed constantly.
Like I fix stuff, and when there's a new DLC, I'll add things from that, or DE has added new options, so I go back and change that. And originally, when I made it, it was backwards compatible with User Patch and Wallhalla Kingdoms and AOC. Some point, I moved that all out to reduce the file size.
I also did that like the first year after DE came out. It felt nice, but then at some point.
Originally it wasn't certain if DE would be a success. Although,
yeah,
I think that
I think it proven to be a success.
Yeah.
There's also just so many differences now that it's really difficult to make it compatible at this point. As we get more and more unique stuff for DE.
DE is... it's painful whenever I go back to HD. I can't zoom.
Well, I think I'm gonna go cook before it's too late. It's actually 22:26 here, so it's almost 11 in the evening.
It is also 22:26 here.
Wait, where are you located?
I'm in Germany right now.
Oh. Okay, well, in that case...
Actually, yeah, we can talk about this later. Yeah.
But what is
it?
Now I'm curious.
I think we were... I don't know where you are now, but we were briefly in the same city, weren't we?
When?
Last year?
I was in Tübingen for
same.
a while. Oh, you were in Tübingen?
Yeah.
Why did you never tell me? Did you? Did I forget?
I think I may have only realized it later.
Damn. I lived there for a year, yeah. Been so close to you, the legend. They had an Age of Empires scene there in Tübingen.
Yeah, I never really caught up with that.
I joined with them for beers a few times. It's really good.
Oh, it's great. This came together, man. Good stream.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Same
Bye.
here. I will. Still streaming. All right. Good night, everyone. And go watch the VOD if you want to see what we said about your map before you joined.